Okay, hi everyone. Welcome on this final jury of the BlueOceanCorners program in South Africa. In the venue, please, can you keep your Zoom window? Yeah, perfect, thank you. Nice. So we are live online, and we are live also in the UNISA, University of South Africa. So let's start now in 2 minutes. So we'll start soon. So Ayongama, you can you need to reactivate your microphone.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant.
So we are live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Blue Ocean Awards channels. So we'll start right now. Yeah, with the opening and welcome by the UNISA.
Can we give it another 30 seconds? We just need to get our vice principal to just come to the stage, then we'll be ready to come.
Perfect, thanks.
Just another 30 seconds. While we're waiting, some interesting information for the guys who are physically here. I know we have not gathered together in such things in a while, so we need your cell phones off. Everybody who is physically at the venue, your left, my right is where you get the bathrooms. It's past the bar area to the right. There are 2 exits within this venue, to your left as well as to your right. In the case of any emergencies, you pick the exit that makes most sense for you. Yeah, I think that should be it. Please do sanitize. There are numerous sanitizing stations all over. If you need anything, please do let us know. All the speakers that will be speaking or presenting this morning, the clicker, we would urge you to just clean it yourself before you start using it, so we don't spread anything in the form of COVID. All right, is everybody ready? You all looks very, very professional, beautiful, and it's exciting to see you all after almost, what, 6 months of seeing you online. Yeah, fantastic. Albert, on your request, we will start.
Okay, we can start.
Thank you so much, Albert. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making it to this probably the last leg before the final push. Thank you that you have participated. Thank you that you kept on being enthusiastic about the BlueOceanCorners. And since we are here at UNISA as the venue of choice for this round, we would love to have our VP, Prof. Thenjiwe Meyiwe. She's the Vice Principal for Research, Postgraduate Studies, Innovation and Commercialization here at UNISA, to give the welcoming for all ourselves here as well as online throughout the world. Prof. Meyiwe. Chat, guys.
Program Director, Mr. Yongama Square Business Development Specialist at DITTC. Mr. Stanley Steenkamp, Chief Executive Officer, Veolia Services Southern Africa. Mr. Stephen Elia, General Manager, Veolia Services Southern Africa. Mr. Vuskosana, Acting Executive, Innovation Enabling Skills Technology Innovations Agency. Mr. Pierre Finot, Attaché for Technology Industries, French Embassy. Mr. Isaiah Engelbrecht, Executive Director, Innovation and Knowledge, Management of the City of Tshwane. Ms. Monique Griffith, Deputy Unit Head, Smart City Office, City of Johannesburg. Mr. Justice Marutse, Program Manager for Innovation at eThekwini Municipality. Mr. Pindile Shabangu, City Manager, TuksNovation. Mr. Noma, Director of DITCC at UNISA, entrepreneurs, mentors, honored guests, students, alumni, ladies and gentlemen, alumni of UNISA, that is. It's an honor for me and a privilege to welcome you across the globe, wherever you are. And this couldn't have come at a better time than this time. Just on the heels of, in South Africa, we are having a maiden speech by the Minister of Finance in a day's time. And of course, what we're doing today very much relates to that. Having said that, I want to just reflect on a quotation that relates to what we are about today, which comes from one of the entrepreneurs, a woman entrepreneur to be more precise. We are indeed having this time that's very important for us this day. I should be saying good morning, good evening, wherever you are. It could be any time of the day. For us, as Ariana Huffington says, fearlessness is not the absence of fear. It's the mastery of fear. It's about getting up one more time, then we fall down, a close quote. And for entrepreneurs, this rings home so much because it speaks to exactly what we are about. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we actually, during these times, engage even with families, it's an honor for me and privilege to welcome you to the University of South Africa, a university that's tasked to actually hold the entire country, given the amount of work that we do as a mega university, where we have this opportunity to listen, to experience the proposals by various entrepreneurs who are participating in this inaugural BlueOceanCorners initiative. Today, we will learn of innovative solutions to some of the challenges faced by our local government sector. In particular, the challenges faced by the cities represented in this partnership. It has been quite a long road to get to where we are today. Of course, having started reflecting back last November at the University of Pretoria, most of you will have been there in various formats, physical and otherwise, which was a groundbreaking initiative involving a variety of stakeholders. The partners in this initiative include, amongst UNISA, its TuksNovation, University of Pretoria, the Tshwane University of Technology, eThekwini Municipality, the City of Cape Town, Veolia Services, Tshimologong, Baobab Incubator, the French Embassy, and Agro. which actually is responsible for the training, that is the latter one, of the Blue Oceans principles to our entrepreneurs. This kind of collaboration, ladies and gentlemen, you'll concur with me that it is quite unique and very exciting and presents a real opportunity to solve our societal challenges. It is an example of this kind of collaborations that we should nurture and entrench, a triple helix involving higher education sector, the private sector, and government. It's something that we all treasure, that we often talk about and put in our principles and policies, but do quite minimal in terms of realizing its practicality. It's happening at both national and local government. Through this partnership, we have had quite several students getting trained in the art of Blue Ocean strategy. This is important. For us, it serves as an important tool indeed, in addition to the toolkit that's available to our entrepreneurs to assist them to translate their ideas into competitive and, more importantly, sustainable businesses that provide innovative solutions to various customers, especially and in particular, singling out the local government sector, knowing that that is where the grassroots is and that is where the grinding happens, the coal phase. We are all too familiar with the challenges that we face, the dire of which are the sluggish economic growth and outlook, and the level of unemployment, particularly among the youth. As I said earlier, with the Minister Kodungana coming up tomorrow, we're all very nervous about what he's going to be presenting. And of course, we at various levels have given him a lot of advice in terms of what he could cover. But that as it may be, the challenges still stand, the challenges are stuck with us. And it is you, the entrepreneur, who actually we look up to with your innovative solutions that as an innovator, an entrepreneur, that you could come up with these solutions. And of course, today we shall learn and experience such exemplars. According to the various authors, one of the key objectives of the higher education is to prepare graduates for the global economy. This has been translated to mean employability of the graduate, with this measure being tracked aggressively in some of the systems and used to assess the path of the higher education system in general. With the escalating expectations on the higher education sector as a whole for economic growth, this must include, we believe through this project and at UNISA, that we have to be doing kinds of trainings like the ones that we're doing right now. We are actually of the belief that it is through these experiences that we shall learn of today, the training that we provide, we have provided, we continue to provide, the mentors with whom we hold hands with, partners that we are about, and strengthening and ensuring that the alliance that we have, if we use that word, continues. And for us, it is at UNISA looking at this initiative and what we are looking today, a form of escalating all these policies that we talk about and have them so good on paper. And for us, it is indeed to ensure that aggressively we work on the systems that we have within the higher education system to escalate the expectations of not just only us within the higher education sector, but of the entire communities, societies, and the world out there that looks up to us to solve the societal challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that this implies that there needs to be a strong curriculum alignment to embed all these ideas and all these skills that we talk about, but embed them and ensure that they're democratized, that we actually get them to be taught within our curricula. And therefore, for me, as the portfolio manager to whom such projects report, today is a foretaste of what could be if these skills were widely taught and available to the vast majority of our students. Perhaps even below the higher education sector, going down to primary schools. If you look at poorer countries within SADC, for instance, if you look at Mozambique, Malawi, Zimbabwe, at primary school level, that's where these skills are taught. And hence, although we complain of having African foreign nationals taking up jobs, they create a number of jobs actually. And the reasons for that is because of their curricula incorporating what we are about to learn today. And we've got to really pull up our socks and get to learn from the countries that we refer to as poorer countries, but there's a lot to learn from them. With all of this, we'll go a long way towards enabling this country to unlock economic potential and create future growth prospects. And as UNISA, we're very proud to be associated with this initiative and to work with the partners that are involved in this initiative. Our university has a physical presence on the African continent, not just only a university that carries the name of the country, but we are an African university in the true sense of the word. Actually, the only university that has been tasked by the higher education department to carry the responsibility of reaching out and having this footprint on the African continent and beyond. And indeed, our university has this physical presence in every major city in South Africa, including the city of Johannesburg, the city of Cape Town, eThekwini Municipality, and the city of Tshwane, where our partners and our entrepreneurs are located. We hope, therefore, to continue to deepen the relationship that we have, and that these cities and municipalities become the locus within which entrepreneurship is nurtured, and the EMS is actually seen to be growing there, and that the partnerships are nurtured with these sister organizations, and that we see more of the benefits that we hope to have, and that what we are about to learn of today gets to grow and gets to serve as the roots, the ground from which to see much more work coming henceforth. We know that this form of relationships are important, and that from these and other programs that we participate in that TIA manages, and we have to thank TIA as a very crucial partner, that we actually have to say it is not really a surprise that TIA is involved in this, and TIA is one of our crucial partners. I must actually point out, ladies and gentlemen, Program Director, that one of our key challenges highlighted in the last 3 years, dating back to 2018, which is actually almost 4 years, is that there's lack of partnerships, or rather difficulty in establishing these partnerships within and between the higher education sector and the industry. And that report, to which I make reference, a 3-year-old report, but that still rings quite home today. What is described is that it is a phenomenal challenge, and largely that we need to take this up to ensure that the drivers of these kind of initiatives are actually within these two systems, and of course beyond. And with the entrepreneurs that we have today, we actually look at you as the leaders to show us the way to contribute in this effort of ensuring that we enable you to build sustainable, innovative enterprises that will pull us out of the dungeons that we actually are experiencing right now of unemployability, of poverty, and of course that leads to the kinds of crime that we learn of, including the one that we learned of yesterday, where a number of people in this Gauteng province got to be killed due to, it has these all interfacing linkages and leads to the fact that there's less innovation, and therefore people get to innovate in a manner that's not ideal, and leads to the kinds of deaths that we saw just yesterday within this country. It is therefore with a sense of gratitude that I also see the involvement of the French embassy in this initiative. The French government, through other initiatives, has been at the forefront of developing and supporting technology entrepreneurship, not only in this country, but throughout the continent. And for that, to be very appreciative. This indeed adds to the brilliant and impactful initiative that the French government, through its embassies, has been involved in to build a momentum towards realizing the African Union's Agenda 2063 mantra, if I may say so, the Africa we all want to see. Somehow you may not have read that document, that's quite thick, but we know through our guts what Africa we want to see. We want peace, we want lack of pointing at fingers, we want accountability, we want corruption being phased out of our systems, and we want, of course, success, and we want to be able to live with each other within the continent, holding hands with partners beyond the continent to ensure that sustainability, perseverance, lots of learning from and amongst each other continues to happen. With these words, Program Director, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, students, alumni, boys and girls, family that is across the various platforms, I want to welcome you to the University of South Africa. I'm sure that I speak to all of our unisans, as we call ourselves, and from the Chancellor, who is the titular head of the university, our ex-president, Dr. Thabo Mbeki, to the lowest officer within the University of South Africa, and on behalf of my boss, the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University, Prof. Linkebula, feel free and enjoy our hospitality today. And I wish to end with Oprah Winfrey's take on what we are about. And for this successful event to take from, that is, we need to win from such ideas, as she says. Follow your passion. And if you don't know what it is, realize that one reason for your existence on earth is to find it. Find your passion. And if you haven't found it, follow your passion. So says Oprah Winfrey. Kelibuhwa, I thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor. Thanks a lot for these kind words and this great introduction, opening message to all the entrepreneurs. Now we will be very happy to hear some introduction message by some of the sponsors. It was, like you said, Professor, a very strong. It's a very strong ecosystem, this BlueOceanCorners initiative, with local authorities, education, governments, incubation, incubator accelerators, the Blue Ocean ecosystem, and corporates. And we're very glad to have also in this strong ecosystem as a very key sponsor, TIA. So we have Zippo Tshwane, Mr. Zippo Tshwane. Yeah. Zippo, you are online.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me take this opportunity to first and foremost extend my gratitude to the Blue Oceans team for the wonderful work that they are doing in supporting our ecosystem. Let me also apologize for not being able to join in person. I would have loved to have been part of the festivities and the program at UNISA. Unfortunately, I am on the road. I've also been asked to send a message of support from the Technology Innovation Agency, by Vusis Kosana, who's the acting executive for innovation and enabling. I wish to greet all stakeholders from the French Embassy, UNISA Prof. Mayor, who was just on the floor moments ago, colleagues from the city of Tshwane, colleagues from TuksNovation, all the incubators who are presented here today, as well as other government entities who work with our stakeholders to ensure that they do their day-to-day activities. This would not be possible without the hard work of the team from Accenture, Alban, Jason Hunter, and the rest of the team that they are working with. When this program was initially presented to the Technology Innovation Agency, we realized its potential and its opportunity for our techpreneurs, and we saw it as an instrument for us to be able to advance the aspirations of the current administration, led by His Excellency President Ramaphosa, in efforts to stimulating economic growth and the recovery plans following the pandemic that we are currently under. Of course, such programs would need to be adding value in, among other things, elevating the triple threat challenges that we as a country are faced with, chief among those being unemployment of youth. And such an opportunity, we cannot stress enough how valuable it is to us, and I hope that the innovators who are at the center of such a program are getting a different perspective. So I wish to also share a quote. That quote is, "Collaboration is being open to each other's ideas and benefiting from each other's perspectives in an open way." End quote. That is by Alan Menken. Having said this, this was something that we had not previously been part of. I recall last year in May, when I was invited by the French Embassy to its residence. And it was a culmination of a pilot project that the BlueOceanCorners team had been running with the city of Tshwane. And we immediately thought, from a technology innovation agency perspective, that this was something that needed to be rolled out so that innovators, regardless of where they are in this country, also had an opportunity for them to be able to benefit and take their innovations to market, which is what our mandate is as the Technology Innovation Agency. I also wish to echo some of the sentiments of the previous speaker regarding the need for all the stakeholders from higher education, industry, and local municipalities to collaborate more so that we are able to, among other things, address challenges that communities face in other regions of the country. This is in line with the Minister of Science and Innovation's district development model, where we are tasked with ensuring that the model addresses those regional challenges where they occur, and innovations that are locally developed do find expression in those spaces. I once again wish to, in closing, thank Ayanda, Pindile, and Isaiah, who, without their input, we probably might have missed a massive opportunity. And we wish to once again extend our gratitude to Accenture, Alban, and Jason, and to say we are very grateful for the work that you've done in getting this far. And we look forward to collaborating more with such a program and ensuring that it grows to have a deeper impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Oladipo. Thanks for your support, from TI support from the beginning, as you said. And now all would be not happening today without also the French Embassy. We have Mathilde joining us. Mathilde Vivo, attachée for innovation to the French Embassy in South Africa. Hi, Mathilde.
Hi, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So thank you for this opportunity. It's glad to speak after Zippo. Thank you for the great introduction on the program. I will be very quick. I just would like to thank UNISA for the great organization and the team of course, the BlueOceanCorners, as well as all the partners, namely TIA and the city of Tshwane. I am sorry for not being also present physically.
Maybe your video. You want to start your video?
No, it's good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I wish the jury all the best and would like to again thank everyone for this this great event. I'm pretty sure that all the incubators and all the teams will learn a lot from each other. I'm very glad to see that we also have kind of cross-cutting issues and also multilateral teams working together, namely different incubators, as we truly believe in the open innovation and the cross-sectoral cooperation. I'm pretty sure we will be very amazed at the project that will emerge of this great collaboration. So I won't be long enough. I would like to say all the best to the teams and keep in touch.
Thanks a lot, Mathilde. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon. Thanks for your support. And we have also a word from Stanley Steenkamp, CEO from Veolia Services, Southern Africa. Hi, Stanley.
Hi, Alon. So good morning, everybody. In terms of our guests and dignitaries, just a couple of words from our side. It's a pleasure once again for Veolia to assist in supporting this worthy initiative in terms of Blue Ocean's Corner. I think we are participating in the future development of our country and our continent. This is something that's critical for us. And it's through the engagement of some of the brightest entrepreneurs that we've seen. And, you know, with that, it's a case of forging a clear possible future for generations to come. And I think that's quite critical. There was just something off key that what the prof mentioned that actually resonated quite real for us in the private sector is real issues in the curricula. And I think that one is something that should resonate through all of us in terms of, you know, to say that the real current topics that we're currently dealing with, those are the topics that we'd also like to see very much in higher education's curricula. So I'm quite excited about that, Prof. So thanks very much for that. The topics covered here today are going to be extremely relevant, obviously, today more than ever, as we continue to tackle the challenges that we faced in achieving our sustainable development goals. And just a couple of topics that we're looking at, obviously, is things like waste management, considering the vast volumes of waste generated every day, extremely relevant. Safe drinking water, you know, considering the challenges that we faced with, especially in South Africa, with waterborne diseases, more recently in terms of, you know, from a typhoid perspective. Pollution, education, mobility, agriculture, energy, and last but not least, I think inclusion. And these are the topics that we will be seeing innovative ideas and thoughts in terms of our entrepreneurs, how they're going to look at supporting in addressing these relevant topics. The journey, as I understand, has been an interesting process, stretching our entrepreneurs to think outside the box and come up with innovative value propositions that will add value, I think, in our society. So from my side, on behalf of Veolia Southern Africa and the Veolia organization, to the organizers, thank you very much, Alvin and Jason and the team, for this great opportunity for Veolia to participate once again. And I wish you good success to the entrepreneurs. Good luck with your pitches. And we look forward to hearing from you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Stanley. Thanks for your kind support and the strong support from Veolia Southern Africa and also Veolia Group. So thanks for this word. And we know you will be supporting the project we'll be selecting today for the prototyping. So it's a very good news for us. Thanks. So let's continue here with a kind word, maybe some words from the cities, because they will be today in charge of this very difficult choice to say which project will have a go to experiment in their territories. So as you know, we have this Johannesburg local authorities, City of Tshwane and eThekwini municipalities. They are all involved in this program, and now this is the day they will decide. So we are very glad to hear today Monique Griffiths, Deputy Director, Smart City Office from the City of Johannesburg. Hi, Monique. And you are at the UNISA.
Good morning, everyone. It is always a joy as the City of Johannesburg, as we embark upon becoming a smarter city, to engage with innovators and young technology companies. You started this journey, I think, several months back, and we can see that this has been the culmination of many sessions that we've had online, many meetings with some of you one-on-one and individually, going back and forth with ideas. And the journey ahead, we are hoping, is going to be even more exciting. The City of Joburg, we are moving towards becoming a smarter city, but a smarter city that has residents at its core. We've been providing services and we talk about basic services and getting the basics right. But one of our main basics is actually our residents and our citizens. So we have at the center of all of our 7 smart city pillars, the resident and smart citizen. And what we want to do there is really tap into all of the information and challenges and needs that our residents know exist, and the solutions that they have that are sometimes very simple. I always keep this example in my head of when we were talking to someone from the mining industry, and they had all these Chinese consultants coming in with all these high-tech major ideas. And, there was just one gentleman there who's in the mines. He was there just to export them. And the issue was they had too much theft of the light bulbs. And so, he's walking along with them all day long, and he's saying, like, yeah, we can do this and that and put these types of containers around it. And then he just kind of raised his hand and got up the courage, and he said, why don't you just change the shape of the light bulbs and make them different? Because people are taking them because they can use them at home. If you just change the shape of the light bulb, nobody can use them at home and they're not going to steal them. And they're like, brilliant, and so that's what I mean. Someone who's in the environment and deals with this challenge every day long. And we sometimes just say, but why can't the city just, right? So those are the ideas that we're trying to tap into with these innovation challenges and these innovation calls that we are doing as the City of Joburg. My history, I was at the Department of Economic Development, started in 2007, and ICT was one of the core sectors that I looked into or that I was managing. And so moving into the smart city was very fluid for me. And it's very fluid because in this space, we need to figure out how we are supporting our young people who are from Joburg or from South Africa, who are daily dealing with the challenges that their families have or that they have, and they have some very basic solutions. They put the effort in, they've educated themselves. How do we create a foundation for them to demonstrate their ideas are workable? And it's just a simple little tweak in many instances. So yes, let's get the basics right. Let's get the basics coming from communities. Let's create those platforms. And we believe this is one of those platforms where we can find where those ideas are. Young people who are serious, who have put, as I said, time, effort, energy, and even sometimes their parents' money into the development of these solutions. So we are here as the city of Johannesburg saying that we are looking for innovations that we want to pilot and test, because that's the first stage to see if these things work in real time. And we think that that is really what young people need as well in order to find the partnerships that are required out in the industry, to find venture partners or to find the contracts that they need, either with the cities or with the private sector. So with that, I just want to say that we're very excited. I'm not going to go into the whole spiel about all of the Joburg city pillars, et cetera. It's online. You can do that. I just want to say congratulations for getting to this point. Congratulations for your future. And thank you very much for being the stewards over my son who comes after you, who needs you to create a new way of us operating in this city so that he wants to stay and not migrate outward. So I say thank you, everybody, and good luck. And I can't wait to see who's going to be winning today. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Monique. And thanks for the support from the city of Johannesburg to this program. And we have also Isaiah Engelbrecht from the city of Tshwane. He's online. Hi, Isaiah.
Hi, good morning, Alba. Good morning, everyone. This is indeed quite exciting for us. It's been a long journey with all the partners and different representatives here, and so many people to thank, but I'm happy that the previous speakers has dealt with it. And if there was more time, I would have gone into the list. My task here this morning, Alba, is very specific. And apologies for all the light in my background. Really just to speak about innovation in the city and the relevance to today. So when I speak today, I think I'm obviously wearing my hat as a representative from Tshwane, but I think it's also quite important from the National Advisory Council of Innovation, where I serve as a councillor as well, to say from a national perspective, this is extremely relevant. One of the projects, for instance, that the Minister of Science and Innovation asked us to look into is around how do we mainstream innovation in public sector. And this is not easy, it's complex, but I think the fact that we're working on that, I mean, to me is already quite exciting and should actually take innovation forward. Alba, I don't know if you have the slide that I shared with you. If you don't, I'll just speak to you. And I thought I'll use the 3 minutes that I have left just to share, and especially for our entrepreneurs today, around the innovation pillars in the city of Tshwane. These pillars come from our approved strategy, and I think it will make sense for you just to have an understanding of how we manage innovation in the city. I'll start on the top left, the first pillar that speaks about igniting the innovation ecosystem in Tshwane. And this really speaks to multi-helix. And I think it's important to mention this. One of the last projects that we ran was the InterVarsity Challenge in the city of Tshwane, where our 3 major universities assisted with coming up with solutions to solve service delivery challenges. Now, we've seen and learned so many lessons from that, and the impact, I think, is phenomenal. I think it's also important to note, because most people on the platform from the inception of that project up till the Blue Ocean Awards was part of that. And that project has been nominated as a finalist in the Center for Public Service Awards. On Friday, we'll know what position it gets, and we'll keep you posted, but thank you to all of you. So really, that's where the city is saying, let's work together and create this innovation ecosystem. The second pillar to the right really speaks about innovation just doesn't happen automatically. We have to establish these responsive structures. For instance, we had to develop and approve an IP policy, intellectual property policy for the city of Tshwane, to define the rules of engagement of how we engage with people outside and inside the organization around IP, specifically as it relates to innovation. We also had to establish a sub-EXCO committee, innovation steering committee, to manage innovation as it flows in and out of the city. And colleagues, when I say all of this, I'm not saying that we are perfect and all of these are running smoothly. This is from our strategy and what we're driving and implementing at the moment. The third pillar at the bottom right, I think, is very relevant to our entrepreneurs this morning. This is where we actually say we build innovation platforms. And I like to refer to this as the city as a platform. Really saying that if entrepreneurs need a platform, meaning access to 500 households, bus services, water systems, energy systems, we will work hard in the city to create a platform for entrepreneurs to test their technology, ultimately with the objective of scaling it so that it becomes a successful business. And hopefully the solution will then be implemented to be to assist with service delivery challenges that we're having. So that's quite an important one that we've identified in the city of Tshwane, to mainstream innovation in public sector. It still have many challenges, but we've seen quite a few successful pilots. And then lastly, it's really to say that we want to build this balanced innovation portfolio within the city of Tshwane. Balanced meaning across sectors, water, waste, energy, you name it, so that there's projects in each of those areas, but also balanced in terms of time across the horizons, horizon 1, 2, and 3. In other words, the city of today, the city of tomorrow, and the city of the future. How do we balance the portfolio so that we make sure that we have solutions from today and into the future? Alba, the reason, as I've said, is really for everyone here and mainly the entrepreneurs, just to understand how we work as a city. And I look forward to the presentations. And of course, the one selected for the city of Tshwane, we will engage them in a process with our innovation steering committee, and then push through that process, and then hopefully get pilots in the city. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thanks a lot for your kind word and this very interesting view of the strategy of the city. So we will now continue here with to give you just an idea of this jury we have today. We cannot have all of them speaking, but as you can see, the cities will be in charge of the decision. They will be chairing this jury today because they will give a go or a no-go to the project for experimentation. And we have TIA, the French Embassy, Veolia, Scaleway, the Blue Ocean City team, and also Shopit, former Blue Ocean Awards winner in South Africa, the EIT, the Europe, dedicated to urban mobility with Jean-François No, Jonas Business School with Lyell, and also Valérie from 4C Invest, an investor. So I will give the floor to Jason to give you an overview of what is this Blue Ocean strategy dedicated to local authorities and to local development. Hi, Jason, from the Blue Ocean City team. Jason, you are muted.
How about that?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes, thank you very much for the introductions to today, setting the platform for the good work that will be done. I just want to give an introduction of what to look for in the presentations. Many people believe, well, they associate Blue Ocean strategy with new products, new services only in the private sector. But for the last 2 decades, we've been using Blue Ocean strategy also to address city challenges. Why? Well, cities face enormous challenges, just like everywhere, but very, very acute, very, very complex. There's 4 billion people around the world in cities. It makes up about 2/3 of the world's GDP. At the same time, we're facing incredibly difficult multi-stakeholder challenges, problems with the environment, especially the climate change, especially since most of our cities are are very vulnerable to these changes. Local pollution, unfunded mandates where the cities are responsible for more and more of the social, economic, environmental responsibilities, but the national governments are cutting their budgets. There's enormous inequality. About 1/4 of all urban dwellers are under the poverty line. So we found that there's a lot of these problems, and governments alone can't tackle them. Non-governmental organizations alone can't tackle them. Businesses alone can't tackle them. But working between these three major stakeholders, we've been able to make enormous gains. So the three things we need to look for today is, number one, to much higher value than what's being given today. So the citizens, the businesses, the non-governmental organizations should have a much higher value across all sectors. That's number one. So we need to be looking for that. Number two, there should be a lower cost. It should be a lower cost, not lower, doesn't mean that these solutions are always cheap, but it is finding ways to make this higher value and keeping our cost structure low, because too often we're trying to solve urban problems, we just throw a lot of money at it. But here we're trying to bring down the cost structure while increasing value. The final aspect you should be looking for is that must be aligned with an inclusive people proposition. So the third aspect of it, it's inclusive execution. What we've been doing over the last 6 months or so is working with the entrepreneurs to work with all of the other stakeholders. So it's a collective construction of the strategies that builds execution into the strategy development. So you should be able to see that it is inclusive. They've had the voices and the energy of all stakeholders. So look for these three things in the presentations today. And I look forward to your thoughts later. Alban?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jason. Very clear and very nice overview of what all this work, which has been done by all the entrepreneurs during these 3 months. So they had very strong and high achievements. As you can see here, it was more than 10 sessions, full day, a big work with interviews in the exploration step. So all of these key steps in the Blue Ocean strategy process for local development, they have been achieved, they have been validated for all of the projects, and you will see today, and even more, because we had 12 projects. 5 days ago, we had the pre-jury chaired by Stephen Lia from the Veolia, and today we have 7 projects will be presented. And it's a strong achievement. They are all Blue Ocean new businesses creation. So as you can see here, some figures to let you guess. Here, these 12 projects developed by your entrepreneurs. There were around 30 entrepreneurs involved for 3 months. It was 10 coaches from 9 organizations involved, incubators, accelerators, universities, 4 Blue Ocean coaches on our side from the BlueCITY team, 14 main sessions, 9 coach sessions dedicated, and more than 100 interviews conducted by the entrepreneurs during their exploration. So here are some reminders for the jury, just to let you know about what we will do. What you need to know for this your deliberation you will have today. Here you will see from each project what we call the Blue Ocean matrix. It identifies clearly this movement of value, this change in the value proposed by these offerings, these Blue Ocean offerings. Like Jason said, it's low cost first, so we need to eliminate and reduce some values proposed by the industry to be able to increase and create a new value. This new value has been inspired by the non-customer of the industry. All the entrepreneurs have interviewed during their exploration step. They are non-users, non-customers. So they will tell you also about this exploration they did. And these non-user, non-customers have identified and interviewed during their journey. They will also express to you the market potential of this offering and value, with which value proposition and identity. So here you will find in this Blue Ocean matrix, you have here more details on this left side. You will identify what we call the blue score criteria, the key, the 7 key elements we need. And each of these projects you will see today, they have validated this criteria. So it's to be focused on key moments, it's to reach non-customers, it's to be targeting key issues and dreams from the customer and non-customers, to eliminate some standards, so this low-cost dimension, but also to create new value for the mass market. It's not about early adopters or niche, it's really to cover all the previous industry. Divergence, so they will raise and reduce elements of value compared to the standard offerings, and to have unique value elements, to propose something unique, something new compared to the standard offerings. So I propose now we directly jump to the first project with Unconnect from UNISA team, with Bongi Kosi leading. Hi, Bongi Kosi.
Hi, Alban. Hi, everyone.
So let me, yeah, you can share your screen now if you want.
Okay.
And you can start. So just to remind the rules we have today for the presentation, it will be 5-minute speech from the entrepreneurs and then 5 minutes Q&A session by the jury, from the jury members, cities, and all the jury members. The floor is yours.
Okay, please give me a minute while I fix this. Thank you. Is my video and audio okay? Can you all hear me?
We don't see your video, but we see your screen.
Oh, okay. I don't know why, but I put my video. But anyway, it's good.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can I start now?
Sure, when you want.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is BOCorners, CEO and founder of NConnect. It's my team, Mbuso, the programmer, Matasilitia, the market researcher. We're in the industry of education. So I welcome you all to NConnect. So what is NConnect? NConnect is a solution to network disconnection. It is also a vision to create a connected world through a strong offline connection system. This vision takes away the problems of network, load shedding, or energy. NConnect aims at creating a connected world for anybody on Earth. It can be parents, students, businesses, or organizations in need of connection to any system in the whole world. So our objective is to adapt to offline environment, investigate alternatives to connection, and bridge the digital divide. So what is the problem we're solving? We're solving the issue of students with problems of connectivity, load shedding, and people that are against new emerging technologies with no mobile phones, no computers, no laptops, no internet, and people living in townships, households, big companies, organizations that are struggling with network or energy issues. And what's our solution? So the solution here is that we're reducing costs and incomplete scripts due to network problems, and we're eliminating the impact of load shedding and network issues, and also being constantly connected to network. And we're raising the convenience of taking tests at home without having to move from one area to another for strong network connection, and also to complete your course or qualification in record time without having to repeat. And we've created the opportunity of students to be able to continue with the examinations or tests even when the connection has been lost, and also to be able to conduct your video interviews even when you're offline. So this is the usage scenario. I'm going to act like the student. This is what the student would do with the system. I will log in and check whether everything is set and wait to start. And then I choose my writing style, whether I want my examination to be handwritten or inside a platform. And then I turn on my invigilator tool. Then I start writing. I therefore upload my exam and click submit when I'm done. And boom, yay, I'm done writing without being affected by network or load sharing. So why now? So based on exploration we conducted, we found that there's a value and a problem to be delivered and solved respectively amid this global crisis, COVID-19. The findings were that currently there are students that are unable to access and submit the examinations due to factors such as load shedding, which affects network. For this reason, they get subjected to repeated that exam, and it is more problematic if the same incident happens and the second chance will be given. In this case, the solution to this problem will be to create an offline administrator and secure vault that will enable students to write the examinations without not having to worry about load shedding or network issues. With the secure vault, the exam will be kept safe, zipped, time-stamped. It cannot be tampered, changed, or removed after the examination period or logged out after submission. So what's our market potential? Our market size is 800 million students, created markets 2 million. Market size in 5 years will be 802 million. Market share will be 80 million, and revenues generated in 5 years will be 4 billion. So this is our strategy canvas. That is how we're going to overthrow our competitors. So what's our business model? Our model will be subscription-based. Our customers will be universities, colleges, private to public, and assessors. And so these are payment plans. It will be payment per month, pay-as-you-go, payment per transaction, and also annual licensing. So this is our income. That is how we're going to generate our income annually from investors, subscriptions, license fees, transactions fees. And this is our expenses. That is where our money will go annually: systems analysis, systems development, hosting, and technical support. So for experimentation, we're going to need universities and colleges and developers, and the scope will be in South Africa, especially students from the University of South Africa. The agenda is to test the efficiency and reliability of the system, and our key partners will be institutions and Scaleway. The overall budget is going to be 400,000. What we're hoping to learn from this is to understand experiences of students and also overall internal operations of the system, and to reach areas where there's poor network, where there's no 4G, 2G, and all this other stuff. And also want to measure the interests of students within a specific number. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bongikosi. Still exactly on time. So do we have questions now from the jury and our jury members?
Yes.
Yeah, Maxime.
Hello, I'm Max from Scaleway, and thank you for this presentation. I have a very quick question. I'm not a technical guy, so don't go in too much deep tech things, but I just want to know how you can do that technically.
Okay, thank you very much. So before the examination can start, actually we can upload these question papers. I just can say 24 hours before, but they will be locked with our secure vault, and these students will be able to access them when it's time to write that examination. And after writing that examination, we'll submit it, but the data won't be transmitted in that time, but it will then be time-stamped. We'll know the time you submitted your examination, and also with the invigilation, since it's also going to be offline, it will record visually and the sound also while you're writing your examination, and then after we'll analyze the video for any cheating practices. And then when you're connected to the network, that's when the data will be transmitted.
Okay, nice. And how many universities are you working with, or do you have any university today?
Okay, we have communicated with the University of South Africa. One representative from the University of South Africa, I think is Basenda, and well, the market is well validated, and they like the idea and would like to pilot and test it. And yeah, so we have yes, validated the market too.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Do we have another question for Bongikosi and his team? I know maybe from the UNISA, maybe from Monique from Johannesburg, or from Isaiah from the city of Tshwane. Some questions from the jury? Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question. It seems I have to come up to the microphone.
Yeah,
I'll get online so I can ask questions on the Zoom call. I just wanted to know the usability, meaning the cross operability of your solution. So you're saying it's for exams and it's for unis, but I would like to know if we wanted to do skills testing of our employees, which is something that we're looking at to see if they're for IR skills ready. And we wanted to make sure that they're doing it by a particular time. Is it possible to use this for them to take the exam, which we would say we want them to take it, say give them a 2-month period to give them time to study, and then they take, it's probably something small like maybe 30 questions, but we would definitely want them to go online, be able to respond to these questions, and then it might be easier for us to do skills audits in the city, because as it currently stands, it takes a very long time to get people to either study particular coursework or take training sessions. And we're looking at additional online learning, but online learning that is also time sensitive because otherwise people will just ignore it. And then is it also possible to link it to an event? So for example, if you don't take it by a particular time, we can link it to the withholding of either, well, we don't want to say withhold, but either doing something that, well, let's just leave it there. I'm getting into trouble areas, so let me just leave it there. Thanks.
Yeah, I actually do understand your question, and that's a good question of which I'm going to answer it beautifully too. So with this system, actually, we are not focusing on examinations per se. We are focusing on all systems of the world. It's not only just universities. That is why we're changing the rules from online to offline, which means that our offline service will provide services to all systems of the world. It can be, for example, if maybe you want to file your tax returns and it's timely scheduled, you have to send your papers on, let's just say, Monday at 2 o'clock. With the online server, you find that there are so many people that are trying to send their papers, and due to high traffic, the system you will find that it's temporarily unavailable. So we're trying to bridge that gap of introducing offline service that will be able to transmit data even when there's low or high traffic. It does not get temporary and unavailable. So yes, to answer your question, it will cover that too. It covers all systems of the world, not just universities or colleges, but each and every system, since we're changing from online to offline. So it covers everything.
Great. I think it makes a very clear idea of this very nice, very impactful offering. Thanks a lot, Bonginkosi, and your team, with also Mbuzo. Congrats.
Thank you very much, Alwan.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Great. So now we switch to the next project. Yeah. Thanks, Bonginkosi. So we switch now to the project TuksWaste from TuksNovation incubator regarding waste management industry. So we have at the UNISA, they are pitching from the UNISA on site. Brighton, Canayo. So UNISA, you can share the screen. You can start the screen sharing now. And we will hear from Canayo, Brighton. Yeah. Move up. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks a lot. And slideshow, you can start the slideshow. Yeah, great.
Good day. TuksWaste, reimagining waste. My team and I believe that we have found a better and innovative solution that tackles efficient waste management, innovative structural development, and energy efficiency all at once. Let me introduce you to the team. We have Kanayo, a computer engineering student who is passionate about software development as well as process innovation. And we have Brighton, a mining engineer who is more knowledgeable about material separation and an entrepreneur at heart. And myself, Shireen, a BCom investment management student who is passionate about working with CSI programs that are community member centric. Now, today I'm going to be speaking about these pioneers. They play a substantial role in the waste management industry of our country, collecting 80% of recyclable waste for a country that only recycles 10% of its waste. Now, some of the challenges that they've shared with us is that they feel as though they are being exploited by the markets, the recycling markets. They are exposed to unhealthy working conditions, as well as the fact that they feel that they're not valued by society itself. Now, what we want to do is turn these pioneers into actual business owners. So from the material that they collect, we want to add value to that material and turn it into something like pallets or whatever they desire to turn it into, and connect them with manufacturers and suppliers of these raw materials. Now, our user scenario is as follows. Firstly, we scout and gather waste pickers. We teach them, we give them free training in terms of how to pick up waste, in terms of how to separate their waste from the get-go, as well as healthy and safety protocols for them to follow. Secondly, we allow them to go and pick up their waste. From there, we have a transportation system that collects them from wherever they are to lower the distance traveled to a waste transfer station. From there, we bring them to our center where they can turn, where the magic happens, where they can turn the waste into whatever they desire. Step 5 is us scouting for manufacturers and suppliers that can sell to, negotiate a deal that puts our waste pickers' interest at heart. The 7th step is us facilitating that transaction and ensuring that our waste picker gets paid. Now, there's endless possibilities with waste. You can turn waste into building material. You can turn plastic into building material, plastic to fuel, or unsortables to cement filler and energy. Now, ultimately, what we've eliminated here is the exploitation of informal waste pickers. We want to formalize the industry that they work in. We've also reduced the amount of waste that ends up in landfill sites. Currently, the city of Tshwane has 1 operational landfill site and the other 4 have shut down already. We have raised awareness of the crucial role that waste pickers play in this industry, as well as we are empowering our waste pickers. Now, the market size in the next 5 years is estimated to be 326 billion, and the market share will be 8%, and the revenue in the next 5 years will be 260 million. Now, our non-users reached by our offering would be waste pickers. It would be the different waste management departments of cities, as well as unemployed individuals. Our unexplored customers would be farmers, industrial waste, as well as manufacturing plant waste. From our competition, we have reduced the amount it takes to recycle your waste, and we've increased job creation, as well as increased the importance of recycling. From our business model, we will different ways to generate revenue is that we add a 10% markup to the commission fee between the waste picker and the manufacturer or supplier we connect them with, as well as partnering with CSI programs and allowing them to advertise their brands on the material and equipment that our waste pickers use, as well as franchising the model. Ultimately, we want to turn these waste pickers into business owners. We want to pilot the project here in the city of Tshwane and hopefully also in the city of Johannesburg. We have started liaising with the South African Waste Pickers Association, and we'd like to partner with companies such as Veolia as well as Barloworld. And the estimate cost to pilot this project is 350,000. Thank you for taking a time to listen to our presentation. What we want to highlight is that we are creating jobs as well as formalizing an industry that is undervalued in society. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Shirin. Congrats. Very, very nice, very clear, very impactful. So do we have questions in the venue or online for Shirin and her team?
Alba, Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Yeah, thank you, Shirin and team, for that presentation. I think it is really crisp and it's solving a significant problem. Like you say, waste pickers are often undervalued. Really just a question, I may have missed it in your presentation, but do you have a sense of the number of jobs that could be created through this initiative?
Can I jump in with my question? So maybe they can be answered at one time.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to get an idea of how the market size and their market share has been determined, if they can just explain that a bit further. And then your revenue, you've said that your business model is based on a percentage of revenue, but what is the revenue baseline developed from? Because from your presentation, I'm assuming that your revenue is based upon the types of deals that you're able to create for them. Can you give us a better indication of where you got your revenue model from? Sorry. And then when you talk about the pilot for the 350,000, that supports a pilot for how long? Do you have those? Do you have all those questions? Or yes. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I want to first answer Isaiah's question regarding the number of jobs this could create. So basically, this is a free job offer for all, anyone who wants to participate in the program. The only issue will be to create that awareness within the city where we're going to be operating, to make sure that we can absorb as much people as we can. Actually, if you look at it, the potential number of jobs that can be created with us is unlimited, because waste is really a big issue in all cities. And by joining hands together with society, getting everyone, all hands on deck, will be assist us to solve not only the waste problem, but also job creation. So if I can give a thumb-sucking number, I think we can easily accumulate 100,000 jobs in one city. Thank you. To answer the next question, how did we determine the revenue, correct? The revenue. We have looked at other models outside the country. And for example, I can give an example in China. They have been the world's dump site of recyclable materials. And one company, I cannot mention the name now, was operating at a revenue of $30 billion. And it was, they were taking waste from the UK and all over Europe. After it gets sorted by the different mechanism of sorting, a bit different to what we're going to be using here in South Africa. But the idea is that they were buying waste from the cities. So the cities, for example, in the UK, they would incentivize waste transportation services from households that are responsible for sorting the waste, and that's transported to a center where the waste is sorted, and then it's sent to the facility, the end facility, where that waste will be converted into valuable materials. So what we want to do here is that we want to be able to acquire that waste and add value to it For example, we can convert plastics into bricks that are even stronger and be used for paving. There is a case study that is already happening in another country, in Tanzania, where they have successfully come up with a very efficient method of changing plastic waste into pavement bricks, creating a revenue of, I think, around $1 million. I'll just provide the further details to anyone who has questions to that. But yeah, that's basically, we have looked at outside world and see what other people have been doing, and we have tried to come up with a unique solution that fits the South African environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Brighton. Do you have maybe a question from Veolia, maybe? Because it's, waste management, don't know, maybe Stephen or Hendrik or another question in the venue?
Alban, sorry, I just want to interject quickly. I missed the other question, which is how long...
From Monique. Sure.
Okay, I missed the question, the last question that Monique asked, which has to do with the amount that we asked for, which is 350,000. How long will it sustain us to pilot in any city? So if I can agree with my team, I think 6 months will be for proof of concept. So that's the amount of money. That amount of money will allow us to run an operation, a proof of concept for like 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Brighton. Maybe we have a question from Veolia, Stephen or Hendrik. You want to, or from Lial, Valerie, from the jury online? Yeah. You want to ask a question to the team, TuksWaste team?
Hi, Alban, Hendrik. No, I don't have a question at this moment. I think I'm happy with what I heard. Thanks.
Thanks, Hendrik from Veolia. Do you have another question for the team? It's okay.
Nothing from my side. Thanks, Alban. It's another very worthwhile project, though. I must say, it's an excellent project.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So congrats, Shirin, Brighton, Kanayo. Bravo.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. From the
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Should I say good morning? Okay, good morning. My name is Nkamreleng Matlora, and that's Thabang Boropa, and we're part of the Powercycle. Thabang Boropa is a master's candidate in police science, forensic science, and technology. He's also very passionate about youth development and innovation and entrepreneurship. I have a degree in biochemistry and microbiology, and currently enrolled in postgraduate diploma in business administration. I am a founder of a bicycle sale and rental business, so very passionate about bicycles. Education of high scholars in South Africa is threatened by load shedding, lack of opportunities, and inadequate transportation. When we did our interviews, we got 3 key needs, which is people want to identify with the transportation that they use. They want to feel safer on the road and pay less for what they got. So we wanted to create something that has more personality, that is safer, and also value for money. This is why I'd like to introduce the Powercycle. This is a bicycle made from waste plastic and also has the ability to generate power. Because of that, we are eliminating rust, therefore giving it a longer lifespan, and we are reducing the weight of the bicycle. And also now it's safer because of the power. You can plug in anything to make it safer, panic buttons and GPS. And we are creating access to power anywhere for everyone. We got an opportunity to partner with a recycling firm where we got to build a bicycle structure. This is just a DIY. It's not how the bicycle is gonna look. How the bicycle is gonna look, it's gonna have thicker wheels and much more comfortable seat, because that's what our non-customers talked about. But this here is made from HDPE. It just shows you how durable plastic is. So we chose plastic because we were inspired by creating different ways of using plastic and reduce waste plastic in our environment. And we wanted to create that awareness. But plastic is very durable. It's very easy to work with. We molded this ourselves. So we definitely gonna have fun working with plastic to create this bicycle. It's not working. Next slide. We're focusing on high scholars and rural high scholars and township, because they are more exposed to the problem of transportation. This gives us 3.7 million children, access to 3.7 million children, and then 2,940 schools in suburbs. That's what we're focusing on. Thanks. Oh, this is Taba.
Thank you so much. And in applying the Blue Ocean strategy, we create an opportunity for people to see the power bicycle as more than just being a sporting equipment. We have a very low price for the bicycle because we are using free raw material, which is light in weight, easy design, and also does not rust, and it is weather resistant. And that makes us to beat the competition. And through the experimentation, we are willing to partner with the cities, stakeholders, as well as the suppliers of the waste plastics and the manufacturing products for the molding machine. Here we are going to expect to use 500,000 in the first project of 100 bicycles, hoping to break even after selling 100 bicycles, which is estimated to be in 2 different schools if we sell 50 bicycles per school. And we are expecting to make 115 million after the 5 years of the break even, if we reach only half of the identified schools. Our market validation, we've interviewed NPOs like ENKE, the Community Fund, and the Rural Education and Access Program, and also the South African Police Services. They are interested in our product and they are willing to invest in the power bicycle. We thank you so much.
Thank you, Tamang and Makumogeleng. Some questions for the Powercycle team? Do we have questions for the team online or in the room, in the venue?
Yes, I have questions. Sorry. Great idea. You know, given the fact that a lot of people's bicycles get stolen because of the metal, it's a great idea. I just wanted to know, from the perspective of like the durability of the plastic. So you know how long-term sun exposure has an impact on plastic. How does that affect either the strength of the bike or the coloring of the bike for the user? And then it was kind of hard to see, you know, what your pilot project would be. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, were you saying that the 700,000 essentially, which was your equipment and your marketing and something else in the middle of your table, was for the pilot? Or is that just how you've assessed your business model based upon creating 100 bikes? So I think I just needed to understand what you wanted to pilot, how much is your pilot, and how long that pilot term was. Then the last question is, how do you link up to get the consumer? So how much is it per bike? You said it was a reduced cost, but you didn't say how much the bicycle actually will cost students. And is it something that is affordable for the target market that that you're focused on? Last question. One of the challenges with bicycles in at least the city of Joburg is the safety and bicycling lanes. So I know that's kind of our issue, but are you targeting areas where you know that there's that there are bicycle lanes initially, so that we don't get a lot of people getting knocked by bicycles? Because there's a culture to being to knowing that there is to heed the road to bikes, and because we don't use them a lot, that tends to be a challenge, not an issue if it's just rural focused. Thanks.
Alba, if I may maybe add my questions. Yeah.
Yes.
Just yeah, really awesome concept. Giving value to something that's a burden, and that's plastic. So I certainly welcome that. I think also the problem around mobility of school children, scholars, that's also welcome, so solving that. I also look forward to the response on the cost per bike, manufacturing cost. And really just in terms of manufacturing, you did say it will be locally manufactured. I'm just thinking about the other components, wheels, etc. All of that, will that be locally manufactured? That's the first question. And then if you can also maybe just touch on, when you say generating energy or electricity, I would imagine through some form of generator, etc. But can you just maybe shed some light on what's the potential of that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for those questions. And I'm grateful because the clicker skipped the slide. So the bicycle would be 1,500 per bicycle. We came up to that because we calculated that the cost would be 1,000 rand to build a full bicycle per bicycle. We also have add-ons to reduce the cost of that bicycle. So if somebody wants more things on the bicycle to make it more comfortable and safer, then they would pay a little bit extra. But the main bicycle would be cheaper and affordable for a normal person. And to make it safer, we added things that would be plugged into the power bank. Because the bicycle generates a power bank, we can plug in GPS and panic buttons and customize the bicycle. In terms of the roads, I think I'm glad that the cities are here, because I'm sure the cities would sacrifice a lane for bicycles to reduce the traffic in the CBDs and stuff. But we are focusing, our first target market is the high schools in rural areas and the townships, where they normally walk. It's not as busy, they normally walk, but that place where they'll be walking, they'll be using their bicycles and reducing the time they take to get to school. And then for the cost, so the machinery itself, getting an extruder and a molder, those big machineries and tools, those would be 500,000. We calculated that by estimating the different machineries that we got from different suppliers. We also included the parts as 100,000. Looking at the discs and the chains that we won't be manufacturing ourselves. And we did identify a bicycle manufacturing shop in Groblersdal. So those parts would be coming from locally, maybe not in the, but Groblersdal is still part of South Africa. And then we also included labor, logistics, and marketing in that cost. We're planning that this will take a year because we're going to use big machineries that we need to order and find from different places and put them all together in one place, and also make sure that our bicycle is safe for the students. So that would take a year to produce these bicycles. That is why we gave ourselves the first year just to get used to the production and scaling. And the 100 bicycles will be selling them by the break even, which is in 3 years. That's targeting two schools in 3 years.
Yeah, Layal has a question online.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Another fantastic project and another really worthwhile initiative. And also love the association with bicycles. I'm also a big lover of bicycles and that mode of transport and how it is so important around the world. A couple of just important, I mean, we've seen similar initiatives in East Africa around the wooden bicycle kind of revolution, because obviously they were always used across different parts of East Africa, especially in Rwanda, in transportation of heavy fresh produce, perhaps. And there were a number of difficulties that came about, and they actually they revolutionized some of the bicycles there to suit the terrain and the context in which they were operating in. I think one of the questions that were raised around urban versus rural in South Africa, I think this is much more of a rural solution. And as you mentioned, targeting high school students in rural parts to traverse those distances. I don't know if it's going to be all that applicable in metropolitan areas like Johannesburg just yet, and that's something that might need to be thought about. The biggest cost to this is actually the after, and this you may have touched on this, but the after sale kind of maintenance and repairs and things like that. Where does that factor into your model? Because I'll get a bicycle, but then how do I actually maintain it and repair it as I go along? Are the people in Groblersdal going to be available to do that? Is there a cost associated with that? It's mostly around the maintenance, because that, as we know, any form of aid kind of provision, it's the aftermarket, if you like, and the maintenance that actually accrues the most amount of costs for the user.
Yes, thank you so much. I forgot one question, sorry, Monique, about the sun and the effect on the bicycle. So what's great about plastic is that you can sort it by the different colors and actually produce something that you don't need to paint on. So if you want your bicycle to be black, you just mix a lot of colors and dark colors, and then it comes out black. And then if you want a red one, then you would just take out the red one and and then build a red bicycle. But then in terms of the sun, we haven't really explored how long it will be until the plastic starts turning differently. I think that is something that we're going to test and research on. But we also reached out to a Brazilian company that explored working with recycled plastic. And I think those would be our mentors, and they'll be helping us in understanding how it will affect the material. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So on the question of durability, just to emphasize and answering the issue of maintenance, as Nkamuleng has mentioned, we are currently already running another bicycle startups, but it was using the normal bicycle from the normal material. So we do offer the maintenance because we are already a bicycle company that's offering bicycle around the city of Tshwane. And on the issue of our target, as well as the question about the safety, for example, the city of Tshwane and Johannesburg have a lot of townships. It is not just the central business district. If you come here, you'll see a lot of people from the townships walking to their places of work. The scholars from the townships actually walk from home to school. And those people are still catered by the cities, the municipalities in the cities, although they are in the semi-rural areas and the townships. Thank you so much. And okay, thank you so much also for the durability. Because we've done the prototype, we have control of what strength do we need in the material. So when we're designing this bicycle and we wanted to test it against compact and everything, we have actual control into what we inject into the molding device. So if we need much more stronger material, we can control that through the pellets as to which type of plastic do we need so that it gives us the strength that we want. Thank you so much.
We have a last question from Isaiah online from City of Tshwane.
Thank you, Alba. It's actually just 2 comments. I would encourage the team to look into the following. Firstly, when you look at manufacturing, and I think that's a big part of your business model, kindly look at the funding agencies, TIA specifically, IDC and DTI, for the type of funding tools or instruments available for manufacturing. It may be relevant to what you're doing. I think also in terms of selling these bicycles, because you're solving a problem around mobility as well as the plastic issue, you may even have a cause around it where you get people, typically people on this platform, to sponsor a bike while solving a plastic issue and the mobility for a child. I mean, that could be a sales approach to get it going instead of searching for money for that. And then lastly, you may know that a few years ago in the city of Tshwane, we had a pilot project around the possibility of bike sharing through an app, and now people can share the same bikes. If you don't have information around it, we'd be willing to share some of the results there. Thank you, Alba. Thanks, team.
We have a next question. We'll take also this question before the group answer from Valerie, investor from the 4C Invest team.
Yes, hello. First of all, congratulations. I think you're offering an innovation that is solving various issues at the same time. I had a question regarding the energy. How do you create the energy and how do you sell it? Because it's very interesting that it can be an income for the users, but I would like to know more about this, please. Thank you very much.
I had one last comment, just not necessarily a question. I just wanted to encourage them to go for SABS approval, just to ensure that you might have considered that already, I'm making an assumption, just to ensure that it is public worthy so that you don't end up with accidents and lawsuits that then, kill the business almost as soon as it starts. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much for the comments. In terms of, I wanted to also comment that we reached out to individuals that actually want to sponsor people from, give back to their communities, and also those that are working in the NGOs that are very interested in this idea. In terms of the energy, so we're looking to put magnetic dynamos on hub dynamos on both wheels to generate energy, and then that energy will be stored in a power bank where it can be unplugged and then used when gadgets needs to be charged. So for example, if there's a scholar, they would ride it to school, and if there's load shedding and their friends' phones are off, they can sell that power to their friends for a certain amount and make money.
Give it.
So encouraging entrepreneurship.
That's nice. You want to answer the last questions we had? Yeah, Tabang.
Oh, no, I just wanted to add the issue of the solar. In addition to the dual dynamos, we're also thinking about having the entire core of the bicycle, having the currently trending flexible solars. So actually, the whole core of this thing could have that trending solar. So wherever you park the bicycle as you are traveling, it will be attracting the energy from the sun and also recharging the power pack. So we have the dual dynamos and we have that solars that will be here. So we still conducting research as to how best can we integrate that into the bicycle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kamogeleng and Tabang. Bravo. Congrats. So now we'll have our pause.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to finally see you and meet you in person. I'm sure all of you share my sentiments when I say I'm all zoomed out. And it's nice to have these one-on-one meetings. So today I'm here to present to you a new offering. We're calling it Agro-Organics, Your Path to Sustainability, with the vision to foster a new era in agriculture and bond nature with technology. My name is Tshimologong. I have a PhD in biology with a focus on agricultural crops. And Ruth, who's not here today, she also has a PhD in microbiology. She will be our data specialist and data analyst on the project. And Caroline, who's here, she has expertise in agricultural technologies, and she's the brains behind one of the tools that we'll be providing today. One of the key issues that we experience in agriculture is that we find that a lot of the farmers that we have identified, smallholder and medium-holder farmers, have an issue with sustainability and also the use of pesticide and different kinds of tools that to use to measure soil productivity. Our offering addresses these key issues, but mainly during our exploration phase, we were able to identify three main key issues that non-customers, that is our smallholder farmers, experience with the use of pesticide and monitoring tools. Specifically, there was increased complexity in the current offerings. That is, they had no idea what kind of fertilizer to use, when to use a fertilizer, how to apply it, more also what kind of soil monitoring tools to use and how to actually apply them. But overall, we find that there was increased risk and anxiety regarding changes to new agricultural practice. So there was increased fear on changing to new practices. Our offering resolves these issues, and it's quite timely because, as we know, there's been a mandate actually from government now to move South Africa to a more sustainable agricultural practice. And offering increases the autonomy in production for farmers by giving them more control, by working with the farmers as our partners in helping them transition to more sustainable agricultural practice, and with the ultimate goal of being completely organic. And this increases the visibility and profitability of the crops and increases the profit margin. But moreover, we're giving them access to new markets that were previously not available to them. But moreover, we are reducing the time and maintenance costs associated with traditional agricultural practices that are currently being exploited. With the role of enhancing efficiency in how we measure and we monitor soils in agricultural landscapes. Our market, the South African agricultural market, consists of it's about 30% of our non-customers that we're targeting. So the small and medium holder farmers, which account for it's around 4 million farmers, small and medium holder farmers, but in reality, that's around 6,000. A lot of these farmers, small and medium farmers, are subsistence farmers. So we will be targeting farmers that are for profit. Our competition, we see that our offering far surpasses the current offerings in terms of the kind of fertilizers that are available and the kind of solutions that farmers are employing to measure the quality of the soil and productivity. Our user case scenario, we focus on, it starts off with a farmer purchasing our product, which is both a service and a product, a physical product. And then that then translates to the farmer, then a consultant from the company would go and install the product and provide the service, therefore minimizing the complexity and simplifying the farmer's offering. And then the farmer will then subscribe to our bio-monitoring service, which is a subscription service whereby they get monthly reports on the status of the soil and functioning of the soil parameters that we'll be measuring. Our business model focuses again on two main parts, the services and the product, where the consultation service, which will be working with the farmer to transition them to organic fertilizer, to organic organic production of crops, but also these services can be rendered to other sectors in animal husbandry, in environmental affairs, and also in mining. The product itself, which is a tool that measures soil parameters and also biofertilizer that we'll be producing in the future, can also be sold to other sectors. And also there is a subscription model where farmers are then part of the model where they get monthly reports on their soil and field productivity. Our experimentation, we are targeting the 3 metros, Tshwane, Joburg, and eThekwini, focusing mainly on small-scale farmers and urban agriculture initiatives. We are hoping to run the project for over 2 growing seasons, so around a year, with partners from Scaleway and Veolia to assist with the technical aspect of the product that we have developed. The objective is to adapt the approach to urban agriculture spaces with the goal of learning how the product we have produced and how the agricultural sensor works in field applications. Our financial summary, we are expecting that the 250 cash injection that we'll get today would help boost the company over the next 5 years. And Blue Ocean Matrix sort of ends there, and that will be my time. Thanks, everyone. Any
Thanks,
questions?
Tshimologong. Congrats. Another question for Itumeleng and the Agro Organics project for Caroline and Itumeleng. You have questions online or on site?
Monique has a question.
Monique?
Oops, sorry. Careful, don't let me knock you over. Yeah, I'm trying to get clarity on the offering and the business model. So I understand, or make sure I'm clear, you're offering organic fertilizer to help small producers to change over to organics and to have more sustainability in their operations. Is there a training component to this that you're also offering? I'm just trying to get an understanding of what exactly are the bullet points of the services that you're providing. The problem is when you're going so fast through these things, you start reading and then you're on the next screen, so you don't get a chance to digest it well. So how does that then, what is in specific are the offering? How are you getting these small farmers who, as you say, are adverse to changing to come over? Is there an association or something that you'll be working through? You know, how are you getting to that market so that there is immediate numbers that actually bring the scale into the operation? Because my assumption is that you're buying the fertilizer in bulk and that they're getting a bulk discount. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is what I'm hearing. And then I'm also trying to understand what is the cost per farmer, or is it based upon their size? Is there like a membership fee and they get access to a certain quantity? I'm just trying to figure out how you're streamlining this so that you're not ending up running after one smallholder who are all risk adverse, and then it takes you so long to get up to scale in order for your model to work, in order for us to get the downstream outcome of, for us, food sustainability using small farmholders. Thanks.
Thanks, Monique. I'll start with the easy part of that question. So what we are offering is both a service and a product. The product is a soil monitoring sensor. It's something like, looks like this. So it's a soil monitoring sensor that measures abiotic factors in the soil, pH, water temperature. The service is more a consultation service that helps farmers and guides them to develop a management plan to transition away from traditional approaches in agriculture to more organic. And that includes in itself quantification of the current biological survey of the soil. So the kind of pests that are in the soil, the numbers, and sort of developing that into a management plan. So in terms of training, what we're thinking is that when we target smallholder farmers and medium-holder farmers, is that there's a lot of training that we can do, for example, with the sensor and taking samples. It's something that we can train local youth to do. And one of the good thing about it is that a lot of the work that we do is some of the measurements can be easily done in the field. So that will then give us an opportunity to train local youth to bring them into agriculture. The second part of that question is, if it's scalable and farmers that are risk averse. So we have had success with this actually. One of the figures that I had shown, I think I'll go back a little bit. Here, so on the left is a farmer that uses pesticide and artificial fertilizer, and we worked with this farmer for over just 1 year. So this is tea in China, and we're able to help them transition to using organic fertilizers and biocontrol agents. So in this instance, we found that there was an increase not only in the yield, but also the quality of the tea, and that enabled us to. The farmer now sells some of the tea to other industries. They make eye mask, I think, and cosmetics. So what we do is that we'll be then working with, there is an organization in South Africa, I think it's SASO, South African Organics. So they provide certification. So what we'll be able to do is that farmers that are part of the program and part of services will help them with certification of the produce, and that will then enable them to have a certified organic produce that they can then sell at a much higher price, which gives them access, again, in the example of tea, can give them access to new markets. So what we'll be doing is that we will be working with the farmer compared to current offerings where it's sort of a once-off, where the companies will then drop off the fertilizer and walk away. What we'll be doing is that we work with the farmer, and in developing our transition management plan as well, we have key milestones in it. For example, it could be maybe decrease of certain chemicals and incorporation of different biostimulants. In this case, we know that in this example of this tea farmer, we incorporated beneficial fungi in the soil, and then that helped them stop using fertilizer. So we see that the organic tea farmer, over a period of 1 year, they stopped buying fertilizer, and that increased also the amount of soil moisture. So that decreased irrigation costs as well. So we see, excuse me, we see that there are clear benefits to this program. What we're offering is not only just giving the solution and walking away, but we work with the farmer as partners to increase, because this at the end, we want to simplify this transition for farmers and also maximize the profitability of their crops. Thanks.
Last question from Isaiah online, from City of Tshwane, Isaiah Engelbrecht.
Thank you. And Itumeleng, yeah, well presented. Congratulations. Just 2 questions. And before I come to that, this solution to me has a strong value proposition for the agriculture sector. So yeah, well done. The first question, you mentioned that you would be interested in piloting with the respective cities that you've listed there. Any thoughts on what would you require the type of field or for your pilot to work? And then secondly, on a lighter note, I saw on the first slide, and I was wondering if this project was very intensive, because I could see on the first slide that you still had air.
Yeah, I need to take in your picture. To answer your question, so we were focusing from our exploration phase. I remember I had an interview with you, Monique, and one of the things that stuck out, we were trying to focus, especially in, I know that in City of Joburg, there is sort of these initiatives to have like green agriculture, urban spaces, but also community gardens in townships or even that are managed by the city. So that could be a way we could pilot this. We could pilot this program in schools as well, in community gardens, also in municipalities that have these sort of urban spaces on like rooftop gardens, for example. So that's one way that we'll be able to implement the pilot, and that's one of the good things that we can replicate it across different cities. It won't be quite unique to City of Tshwane, but the solution can be applied to Joburg, given it to eThekwini and other metros around South Africa.
So thanks a lot, Itumeleng. Congrats. very nice project. So we will continue with the next project.
I'm not talking.
Yeah, sorry. So we'll continue here with Mbuso. So parents' education in the education field. Yeah. So yeah, you can start the screen sharing. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks. Sorry. I am Mbuso.
Hi. Just testing. It looks like it's not moving.
The remote controller needs some batteries, maybe.
While they are fixing that, I will tell you that there are 3/4 of a billion people that cannot read and write. They are still fixing that. Tell me when you're ready. And I will also tell you that there are 2/3 of a billion children that cannot, that are failing math.
It works, so you can start, I think. Yeah. If someone can fix.
I'm clicking on it. It is definitely not moving.
Okay, maybe
the slide.
the technical team can manage the slides. Don't know.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready. While you're sorting that out, I will also tell you that these 3/4 of a billion people, together with the 2/3 of a billion, mean that there's 1.5 billion people that are illiterate in the world. Now, I imagine if each and every one of them paid me R1, just R1 a day, that would be 1.5 billion rands. Tell me when you're ready. That would be 1.5 billion.
Technical
rands.
team, please. Technical team, can you manage the slides? We are out of time. Yeah, in the UNISA technical team, if you can manage the slides and slide them down. I don't know. The remote controller does not work.
Yeah, okay, now sorted, perfect. Okay, I've already told you about this. So before we start our presentation, I will tell you that my name is Mbuso and I'm a systems developer. I have worked with a social worker and an educator as well as a financial officer. I have been programming computers for nearly 8,000 days, which is just about the same distance in kilometers from here to France. To give you into context, if you put one of these in every kilometer, it means you'll have each one of them in every kilometer until you get to France. Now, the question is, why are children failing maths? 2/3 of a billion. That's question one. Question two, why are 3/4 of a billion adults illiterate? And I will tell you that the answer is very simple. And if the answer is correct, then perhaps they may pay me R1 a day. I will say that imagine that you were a builder and your responsibility is to fit a roof in a house. And you find that as you're about to fit a roof, you discover that the foundation is very weak. What would you do? Do you go ahead and fit the roof, or do you demolish the house? I will tell you that teachers at the higher education are facing the same problem, where learners are arriving at high school and higher education, but their foundation is very weak. Unfortunately, they cannot demolish. But I do have a solution, and I have tested the solution. And the solution is very simple. It says, convert homes to a reinforcing environment and involve parents. What does that mean? It means theory in school, practical at home. I saw this 8,000 kilometers away when I was in France in a place called MIS, which is the initiation of science at the University of Paris-Saclay in 2019, 816 days ago. I tried this 5,915 days ago with my child. And today she is studying on a full academic colors and is currently in matric with average 90% in mathematics with full academic colors, full a first position in the grade and first position in the class for consistently since she was in high school. Now you'll say, no, maybe, it's luck, or, I've tried it 1,827 days ago with my twins, test case number 2. And today, well, actually in October last year when I assessed them, one of them could count from 0 to 206 counting bins in 15 minutes. And 54 days ago, I tried it with another twins where I was invited by a grandmother who said, hey, my children failed grade 1. I hear you are doing things for children. What can you do? I came. I tried it with them. 6 weeks later, there's already an improvement. This is what the grandmother did. I created a system. The grandmother is about 50 kilometers away from me. She signs up online. She goes online. We agree. She pays a subscription, and she scans the evidence, uploads the evidence, some evidence that we require, and an AI bot analyzes this evidence, considers 5,000 variables in 3 seconds, and provides a diagnostic report that says this child does not understand the letter B, does not understand the letter D. Focus on that. And then, therefore, the parent then receives daily activities via their mobile phone. They administer those daily, and we hit repeat, we hit repeat, we hit repeat. And when we do that, school teachers can access this diagnostic report, and it helps them to improve their teaching at school. We also have behind the scene mentors who are connected via this virtual platform, who then are able to provide support. So the solution is really very simple. It says, when you teach fractions at school, parents do not know fractions, but they do know how to split a cake. And then you turn that into a practical experience, which then reinforces learning that happens at school. And the learner, therefore, does not forget. So what have we done? By applying the Blue Ocean strategy, we have actually increased we've reduced the uncertainty that goes with learning. We've reduced the time that it takes to learn. We've reduced, therefore, the dropout rates. We've raised the quality of education by creating this reinforcement environment. And therefore, we are creating value for the 739 million primary schools around the world, potentially. That is the market size. The 9 customers reached would be the schools, households, and the digitally marginalized. This is a market that has a potential value of 20.4 billion in the next 5 years. We've tried this again in 2021 over a pilot project which was funded purely from my own pocket, where I took this to the homeless street kids on the side of the road. We tested this. The results were incredible. We ran a 3-month project with 526 kids, including involving 243 parents and 44 volunteers. The results were incredible and allowed us to conclude that we are really improving functional literacy and reducing the time that it takes to learn. So what we now want to do is we want to apply this on a controlled experiment with involving 50 parents globally, anywhere, well, in South Africa, confining the space during the months between July and December 2022, involving the Department of Education as well as universities to test the efficacy, the usability, learnability, and so forth. We would require about $25,000 US to do that. And the competition, we will find that our offering compares favorably in terms of price, in terms of the time that it takes. But in essence, also what makes it unique is that it is complementary to what is available out there. We've also spoken to the teachers, 6 primary school teachers at Quintal 1 to 4, the 8 ECDs, and so on. We've tested this by exposing it through competitions, including winning twice the UNISA Innovation Challenge in 2019 and 2021. We've exposed it to the Minister of ICT, who was quite impressed with it, and also the KZN TV. Also, we've had exposure with the University of South Africa, My UNISA portal. I would then want to conclude by letting you know that we want to leave no one behind as we move into the digital economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mbuso. Congrats. Questions for Mbuso and his team parents education project? Do we have questions online or on site? Getting parents education project.
Alba?
Yeah. Monique maybe first and then Isaiah. Yeah.
Perfect.
I always have questions. I just try to wait for other people to ask theirs sometimes. Okay, the first question that I have is you said there's a membership there's a membership format to this. I was just curious, how much is that per parent? So in order for their children to learn or to be involved in the program, and then is there a set syllabus or is it strictly based upon that AI diagnostic that you are putting them through? So they each get individualized learning sheets. And then is the parent supposed to guide them through the learning sheet? So for example, children who are coming from a history of illiteracy, what kind of support are they getting if, say, for example, they are not in school? And that's also another question. Is this something that can also be used for children who for whatever reason are not able to go to school? So you have you have migrant children who are not allowed to attend South African schools. So what is this something that can bridge that gap to make sure that their foundational skills are together? That's just as a side curiosity. You didn't mention much about adult illiteracy. So I was just curious, are you now focusing principally on primary school learners? Is that where this program finds its greatest strength, or is that just the target market where you think it speaks to the market fastest? Because sometimes, anyway, and then there was one other question. Okay, so and then just explain this pilot more. You want to find 50 parents between July and December, and that's at a cost of $25,000. And I'm just curious, why are you looking so far afield for a pilot when you want to see, I would assume, whether or not it works in a particular market first, and then you get 50 parents maybe from another market. So just kind of trying to understand the thinking behind getting parents spread from so many different potential distinctions in learning and how education is delivered, and why that model versus, okay, I'm going to Attersville and I meet 50 parents in the Attersville area who are doing poorly, or in the general Tshwane area or Joburg area. Okay, but I think those are my questions for now. Thank you.
So Monique, for the question, we will take also the question from Isaiah, so Mbuso can answer to all of them. Isaiah, your question to complete Monique's question.
Yes, thanks, Alba. Monique actually covered me well with the questions. Perhaps I'll just add Mbuso to one or two questions to the pilot, where you say 50, and I'm wondering, is the pilot, is it quite labor intensive from your side, or is it mainly automated? Because if it's not as labor intensive, could it not be a pilot of 500 and even get 500 parents to each fund 1,000 rand for their kids, just to support funding towards your pilot? But yeah, let me leave it there. Perhaps just this one thing in terms of membership. Monique spoke to it, but if you can just unpack your business model a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have 7 questions in total. I will start with the very first one from Monique, which has to do with the syllabus. To say that we are aligning this with the syllabus. Behind it is work that was done previously towards developing or aligning it to, to the CAPS curriculum, which is the South African, public education curriculum. So that is one, which then covers the, all the areas. It allows teachers to then use this method, and we are able to cover throughout the year. That's one. But at the moment, we are only focusing on the foundation phase, which would be your ECT grades R to grade 4. And winning the UNISA competition last year gave us space to be able to do so, to be able to develop further, which is currently what is happening. So I've dealt with question 1. Question 2, the issue of migrant children not allowed to attend South African schools. So, the migrant children is not allowed. It is a challenge, but the idea is to create a system that does not only focus on one particular curriculum, because our focus is on a global market, a bigger picture, and that is our blue ocean. And then therefore, which then says, talk to other syllabuses, other curriculums, talk to, your IABs, your British, and so on, so that takes care of that. And then also the concern about adult literacy, it is a genuine concern. But, I'll have you know that in fact, although we are saying that this is a parents' education, it is a different kind of teaching. We are not teaching parents Pythagoras theorem. We are not teaching them how to become teachers. But what we are doing is teaching them simple things that allow them, when they implement those things, to actually reinforce learning. I'll give you an example, just a quick one, which any parent can do. You are feeding your child and you are just about to finish. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, the child has not even started speaking, is being fed, but now she understands that, oh, it's 3, 2, the last one is 1. So by the time she starts speaking, she's already at 3. She already understands the notion of counting. So that's just one. So that kind of education, it says that as an adult, you can support your child at home. So and also, there was a question to do with the thinking behind the market being local, and the pilot project focusing, on the 50 locally, and why not, go abroad? Why not be inclusive and go to 500? I think I'm mixing the questions there, so I will need your clarity on that. Just my apologies. Let me just move straight to the other question that has to do with the 500, to say, why not go with the 500? Is this labor intensive? If not, then expand your market size and do the test. What is happening is that currently it is there are mentors, physical mentors. We want to to narrow the scope to 50. Because now what is happening is it allows us to develop the system further, and this developing the system means that every day you are receiving some kind of raw data, which is audio. A child is counting, parent is recording, sends it, and you are then able to modify this learning system so that it is able to accommodate, to be able to understand that. So that is the thinking behind narrowing it down. Although it appears like it's a small number, but it actually, in terms of data, it's actually quite a lot of data, because you're looking at 365 days of data coming in, and data being generated into it. So we still want some human to supervise that, who is a qualified teacher, who is able to then, quality assure that before we pass our systems and then say, right, let's go on a larger scale, beyond just that.
And Buso, I think yes, you can also have interaction directly with Isaiah and Monique, because we are running, the time is running now. So are you okay if we switch now to the next group, or we're already 30 minutes late? It's okay, maybe a last word to conclude?
Okay, yeah, the last question was to do with the membership, to say that, the business model of it, how do you explain that membership. There are staggered membership subscriptions. The schools subscribe to the system and they are paying for receiving these diagnostic reports. That's one. Parents who cannot afford to pay are able to access and use the limited version. And as they require more functionalities, they are then able to graduate to higher offerings and then are able to pay. It's a small subscription fee, which with numbers adds up.
Okay, very clear. Thanks a lot, Mbuso. Congrats. Very nice project. Thanks a lot. So now we can switch to eToken with Bami and Brandon regarding the energy industry, very key topic in South Africa, indeed, and anywhere in the world, of course. Hi, Bami.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah,
good.
Very well.
It's good to be here. Nandi Gubala. Awesome. So we can actually just get started. Guys, everyone, we have a number of pressing issues in our country with regards to energy. As you know, the price of energy is going up and we're using more and more every single day. Of course, I'll stand here and today I'll be talking to you guys about eToken energy sustainability credits, right? Essentially a way to save in costs of energy. It's by myself and Brandon. Brandon is probably on the call. And yeah, so next, okay, I use this. All right, so me, myself, I am a MSc graduate in data science and a BSc graduate in computer science. And I run my own AI consultancy firm. And we've worked on some AI recommendation systems and SCADA-like applications. And Brandon, on the other hand, is a mobile engineer, and he's an expert in developing iOS and Android applications, right? So now eToken is essentially positive energy habits giving you credit, right? And what this is we want to help households and businesses be able to reach their sustainable development goals by providing them with redeemable energy credits. The market potential for this is huge. As we know, there's 17 million households in South Africa, and around 3.8 billion is the market potential. And we hope that in 5 years, we can get at least 5% of that, which is 50 million. All right. Next. Yeah, so these are some of the non-customers. Includes low income and high income residential households, municipality, commercial buildings, every single one of them on different tariff structures with the municipality, city power, however you want to look at it. And the solution that we're bringing to you guys is to help households and businesses and reach their sustainable development goals by providing redeemable energy sustainability credits, eTokens that we call them, to them regardless of their current energy tariff structure. All right, so by doing this, we reduce the price, we reduce energy consumption, we eliminate additional costs for cheaper energy, we eliminate any complexities in energy saving decisions, we raise the sustainability images of not just people, but also businesses, and raise the environmental concern, right? By doing this as well, we create an avenue for municipalities to potentially have donations. Employees at their workplace can have energy benefit schemes, and eToken is essentially what we create. So some of the sustainable consumption actions that a user can do is perhaps save energy during peak hours at home and at work. They can reduce energy consumption at the very end of the month. They can record energy balances as well at start and end of peak times. By doing this, we can move them through tiers, bronze to gold, for example. And by doing that, they actually gain a lot more incentives. Right, so now prepaid versus time of use, right? This is an example of some users' tariff structure. In prepaid, we have the blocks, right? For the cost of energy, but in time of use, we have energy that's available at a specific time at a specific price. And so we want to play around those two dynamics in a way so that we can optimize energy usage in such a way that the green part is where people use more energies as opposed to the red or even the yellow. Right, so essentially we did some research, and in terms of market validation, we found that around 86% of the energy that was consumed from households that we looked at were at peak times, and 16 and 14% were at off-peak times, right? And essentially just doing calculations on there, we can save around 1.8 billion for every single household, right? So why now? Energy load shedding is currently a problem. We have the Paris Climate Agreement coming in. Energy is becoming more and more expensive. Renewable energy is more and more accessible. As you can see, we segment the market against the competition. This is an example of a usage scenario. So let's say I am a resident and I need energy, but it's expensive. Instead of buying from my standard bank, I buy from a company, which is us, essentially. And by doing that, we get access to redeemable energy credits. By doing that as well, the cost is the exact same. So I receive my standard units of electricity, and then I get access to sustainable consumption goals every day tailored to my residents. And by meeting those goals, then I get my e-tokens, right? And by doing that, we can then place exceptional residents on a leaderboard and even businesses, and praise them for their contributions towards the Sustainable Development Goals 7, 11, 12, and 17. Residents can then redeem the credits by converting it back into cash, or by using the credits in our energy efficiency store, right? Converting it back into cash. Essentially, these credits will be convertible to cash, and they can be converted as well into even electricity credits, right? Here is the business model. So let's say a user, one of the users on a prepaid tariff, the user pays us 1,000 Rand for their prepaid voucher. Using the sustainability goals, let's say they save 250, then we pay 750 to City Power, and due to the time of use tariff, we can do that because we have an agreement with City Power on this regard. So City Power bills us and we bill the user, and we give the user e-tokens worth 150. We pay, let's say, 30 Rand to City Power, and then we earn 70 Rand at the end of the day. Some of the experimentation details, we're already running them, and we have about 11 residents on the viability of the solution who want to take it on. And we hope to work with municipalities like the city of Johannesburg, Tshwane and eThekwini, I think that's what's called, Durban. And we can, in doing that, meet some of the objectives here by checking our visibility study of the data collection methods we're going to use, check saving propensities, and test the visibility and application. Some of the benefits to the city includes less strain during peak hours, increased city sustainability ratings, more cash for the customer's pocket or the consumer's pocket, and increased willingness to pay for municipality services. That's it. Thank you.
Congrats. So, some questions for Bami and the e-token project. We have question for the project, Isaiah and Monique.
Hey,
yeah.
here I come with.
Monique.
Okay, so again, clarity points. So the cost, someone is saving, the individual house is saving money on buying their airtime, so to say, for energy from you. 1,000 for an amount of 1,000, you're paying 750, and they're okay. I didn't get that completely correct, but what I did catch is that they're getting it at a discount, and then you have some kind of cost share with City Power, and that's how you're making your money. So I'm still kind of confused about how the tokens are working, and so they buy from you and they instantly get a token, or are they only getting these tokens when they are using during those off-peak hours, so that you are trying to transition or give people incentivizing people to use energy at an off-peak time when there's less likelihood of load shedding, right? Okay, so you're creating your own model of load shedding, so to say, and shifting out users. Okay, so I get that. I think my question then would be, with the tokens, so what is the equivalent, and how many tokens do I need to get and what does it get me? So I can throw them back into the system and get more energy. How many tokens do I need to get in order to get the equivalent of maybe whatever you are testing there? And then I would just like to understand a bit more of the breakdown of the 1.5 that you say you need for a 6-month pilot project. Well, what is that 1.5 going towards? Do you have you already have the system up and operating because you have 11 users that you are I guess kind of slowly piloting. So I just have a question, what else is required that takes the 1.5? I think that's clear. Thank you.
We'll take also a question from Isaiah in a row.
Thank you, Alba. Bami, well done. Well presented, and I think it's an excellent solution that's really needed in our country at this stage. Only one question in terms of clarity around the pilot as well. Yes, to understand the 1.5 million, what it's for, but also just if you can just shed some light on what are the different components, what are all the things that you need for to run a successful pilot. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So firstly, I must mention that the goal here is to get is to move customers and users through tiers. So essentially, we've mapped it that every single or 10 tokens make 1 rand. And based off of your tiers, then you have different conversions that are available to you. So sometimes you would be able, like for example, if you're on bronze tiers, maybe you wouldn't get access to cash, you know, but then you'd get access to the electricity credits. And then of course, then as you move up and more, then you get access to stuff like more energy efficient light bulbs and energy efficiency, stuff from the energy efficiency stores. So we just move you through those tiers right now. And then the solution currently is being, so we're working with a focus group to understand the exact requirements to make this thing work. We're building as well on the side, but working with the focus group is very important so that we understand the data requirements and how we can, you know, switch the business model in the right way so that we can get the most out of this. So this was also in line with the vitality scheme that's been used. One other thing to mention here is that with businesses, the way it works is that we want to make it more a benefit scheme for business. So by all the employees within the business being a part of this, then we can essentially have the business send through some of their savings on a monthly basis towards employees' accounts, home energy accounts. So some of the credits can be dispersed across the company. In terms of the 1.5 million, mostly dev costs is what we will be using that for, development of the solution and ensuring that we are adequately, because there's a lot of data and models that would be running in the background to make this, this work. And so it's platform costs, dev costs to make this possible. And then there was one other, so just in terms of what we need, so what we need is essentially interfacing with City Power. We need their help there. We need the municipalities to assist us in order to, you know, get some households onto a platform like this. In return, the municipalities, and this is where the donations come in, the municipalities, because they help us onboard these households, they get like a referral fee of those credits, and they can then choose to make that donations towards the households themselves. Of course, we can chat with municipalities to see how that would work, right? And we also, so we talked about dev, we talked about, yeah, so essentially we also then need, you know, help with the businesses, because I think once more and more businesses, of course, take something like this up, automatically people will have them in their homes, because essentially if there's an energy benefit scheme for businesses, then their employees, because they have a benefit from that, could hop onto the application and use the application at their homes and also get, those credits. So we're looking at all these different ways to pilot this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Bami. Congrats. Good work. So now we'll switch to our last project we'll have today. It's with Siboniso and Jean-Luc from the Baobab Makerspace in Durban with Untold Histories. So you can share your screen now, Jean-Luc and Siboniso. You can start the screen sharing. Yeah, good. We see your screen.
Hi, Alban. How are you doing?
Good, good. Hi, Siboniso.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. May I begin?
Yeah, yeah, when you want. Yeah.
Okay. Umuntu ngabantu. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to present to you today Untold Histories, which is the gamification of our heritage tourism sector. We'll be exploring our past through a new lens with this innovation. Our team comprises of me, a socio-economic researcher and entrepreneur who owns their own platform, which engages communities on tough topics on how to advance South Africa. And Jean-Luc, a civic technology creator and problem solver, who has skills in digitization and using tech for civic engagement. We have a vision for South Africa to provide a truthful account of history, revealed untold stories which will provide a deep sense of justice through gamification and tokenization, which will advance the heritage tourism sector. We have experienced that history is written by the victors. Even in schools, our textbooks are filled with colonial text, and heritage sites and museums are struggling to generate money today and remain relevant. They are heavily relied on charities and donors, and traveling to the museum in order to access the information is costly. We will reduce the weight of bad history by telling our stories of African Nguni, Soy, San, and Khoi tribes in a dignified way. We will reduce the price to access this information as we'll make it available online. And we will incentivize people to visit museums at the end of the trip by offering ticket sales to the heritage sites. The usage scenario can start with you wanting to learn the true history of a Zulu nation, for example, not knowing where to go because there are stories online which are just not verified, and all the stories are told by colonial text and wars that negatively affected the tribe. So you go on our platform, you learn and you purchase a ticket there, and you learn in your room in an innovative, fun way, and you learn the true history. But it doesn't stop there, because we then incorporate NFTs at the end. And Jean-Luc will explain why right now is the best time to take over.
So why we're at a particularly powerful point in history is that never before have South Africa and the global community at large been more divided. And we want to use technology we want to leverage off technology to bring people together, to invite open dialogue, and to create social cohesion. So by leveraging off augmented reality technologies and NFTs to create an environment conducive for dialogue and social cohesion. So what makes us unique? Now, there's a big element of, there's a lot of conversation around the fourth industrial revolution. And what we've definitely learned through this Blue Ocean process is that technology isn't the main element that drives change, it's unlocking new value. And we believe that through the technologies we are applying, we can tell new stories and unlock new value. Through metaverse virtual experiences, the Pokemon Go augmented reality experience, and NFT assets and digital assets, that through this, we can unlock a new ocean of opportunity.
And right now, the historical, tourism, cultural, and creative sector is currently valued at 63 billion, and we believe that we can create a market of 15. But this is not only limited to the historical tourism sector, as we can apply the same methodology to wildlife and conservation. And if we incorporate our NFT marketplace, we believe that we can capture about 30% of this market. And if you're not familiar with NFTs, they've taken over in 2021, but have been around since 2024. But due to cryptocurrency and the democratization of trading, they have taken over, and the total sales are 5.6 billion Rand. And the average NFT sales at 37,000 Rand. We're going to leverage new technologies, add gamification, a subscription or single purchase model, and add bidding and auctioning to our platform that will incentivize people to visit sites at the end of their virtual experience in order to unlock the full NFT and its benefits. We have demonstrated in our value offering that we can lower the price, democratize knowledge, and also create dignity and value for tribes that do not have true accounts of history. In our financials, we will start with the District 6 Museum and Zico Trade Lodge, and it's just under R1 million to pilot. It will take us 9 months, and we can end in October or November. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Siboniso and Jean-Luc. Do we have questions?
And I think, Siboniso, if you can play the Mila gallery whilst we answer questions.
Do we have questions?
This is an example.
Yeah. Nice. Do you have questions for Siboniso and Jean-Luc for the Untold Histories project?
And I think an important element to elaborate on is the experience that we imagine. So if someone had to go to the Nelson Mandela capture site, what would draw them there? And this element of you can explore these places online through virtual tours, but a big part of the future of the fourth industrial revolution and the technologies that apply to us is that digitization and the tokenization of assets and uniqueness. So that's what NFTs do. They create uniqueness of digital assets. And the whole premise of the idea is that you would fall in love with the Nelson Mandela story and want to visit each of the points in his journey. And as you go to each point in his journey, you get to collect an NFT, a non-fungible token that you get to collect. Instead of a t-shirt or a mug, you get to collect a piece of digital art that has value in the real or in the digital world.
Thanks, Jean-Luc, for this information. Do we have questions for the group, for the team? Monique,
I was trying to get
Isaiah? Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get a feel of what is it that we are actually, what is the experience? Because they talk through what it is, but I didn't get a sense of the experience. So are you taking people through current museums, or are you creating your own, say, District 6 museum, so that you are, I guess, enriching the points of view? So you're giving a different slant or a different point of view of what the District 6 experience was. So those who actually lived it will have a different story than those who were responsible for it. So that's what I'm trying to understand is that now I understand the fungibles. So the fungibles, non-fungibles is once you go along that experience, somewhere along the way, you might be able to click on something and then see what non-fungibles are there for you to purchase. Can I get an idea? I know that these things are starting to get very, very expensive now. So are you coming in at kind of a starting point, or are you using where the non-fungible currencies are currently the global market share, the global market price that they're now being offered for? So say, for example, to your example, let's not use Nelson Mandela because that's always going to entice large amounts. So in District 6, if someone went along and you had a non-fungible of just a scene of the District 6 removals,
Yes.
You know, can you give me kind of an idea of what's that going to cost someone? And when non-fungibles, I just need to get clear, that means that that is unique to that one person who buys it, correct? Or is there going to be several people who then can buy that same thing? Is that one thing that then you can exchange and auction and resell in the market? So you're trying to create kind of a tourism, an additional value to tourism that can be exchanged globally on a market of those who are, okay, all right, so I get it. Okay, so then those who are not, so is this mainly then focusing on people who are interested in the extracting the value out of tourism? So for example, if it's South African history and it's a South African art, a South African is now trying to compete with their rand against someone in their UK pounds. So does that again mean that all of the art that might actually be valuable and exchangeable is going to end up in foreign hands because they are using a UK pound versus US dollar versus a rand in order to acquire what will probably be very unique and outstanding art that you can't get elsewhere in the world? So I think
that's an incredibly important part of what, and obviously that is a great problem to have for there to be demand of our service that we want to offer. But the problem of it falling in the hands of not the wrong people, but you want heritage to remain with the people that it belongs to. And so there's the ability to have fractional ownership of artwork, where more than one person has pieces of a puzzle, which is an interesting solution to the problem that Nkululeko and Tembu proposed. So there are ways to limit the supply as well. And what our service would be is we would work with heritage sites like the District 6 Museum. We would work with them to help them create digital tokens that can be traded and experienced. But yeah, so I completely hear the problem, and I think it's a very valid one. But it is something that we can work around, and you can limit the supply to people.
And a lot of the time now, there's a 10% royalty fee for the original artist with every sale. So to answer your question with the continuation of sale, as an example of what we would be doing is even when the bid has been sold, it can stay on the platform and somebody can offer. So this is an example of a NFT that first sold for $17,000 and its last sale was $664,000, and it's had 4 unique owners with a sell count of 3. So basically it will stay in perpetuity on the platform for people to come and then try and bid higher, and that will create more value for the platform, but also it will create a continuation of royalties for the museum or the original artist. And your first question was how we're gonna go about discovering these stories, and it's going to be piloting with these 2 heritage sites, but also having an open call for stories. We've budgeted 150,000 Rand, and this open call will pay 5,000 Rand for 15 unique stories, and that will run us an online campaign that will sift through these stories. And if yours gets selected and included onto this platform, when we pilot the project, we'll have 15 unique African stories that never been told before, and 2 virtual tours of the District 6 Museum and Ezekiel Trade Lodge. So we'll be incorporating the heritage sites, boosting South Africa's heritage system, because like we said, we want to incorporate national parks as well and wildlife conservation to this. And then on the other hand, running these competitions or open calls for people to submit any unique stories with documentations where we can go through them and choose the most captivating, inclusive, representative ones that we think will provide great value to the platform. So we want to have like a single platform for these multiple experiences. Yeah.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, someone might buy something. I see you're things they're costing, let's say it's, anyway, 200,000 Rand, someone pays NFE 200,000 Rand. So that piece of art stays on the site in perpetuity as, say, for example, so now someone is owning a piece in an online museum. Is that the equivalent of what we should see this as an extension of, where it stays online? They might pay for it, they might even exchange it to get value out of it, but it will in perpetuity be online for the world to see, so to say.
Yes.
I think it's still an issue of who is getting the economic value out of that. The artist gets 10% of, I guess, and hopefully that's all of the various transactions of that. But it seems kind of low when you're talking about the history and the ownership of that history and who has historically, you're talking about changing history, but historically the ones who have been benefiting from African history has not been African. So let's not perpetuate things online that are existing in real time. Okay. But I definitely love the idea of creating these online museums, and I love the idea of expanding the way that we are having tourism, and absolutely expanding the voices and these experiences that are often spoken to. So I can see the benefits there. And gamification, we know, is kind of where we're moving towards. There's a lot more conversation I'd like to have. I'm not going to take much more time, but I would like to potentially just investigate this, pick it apart a little bit more. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your questions.
We have a question from Isaiah, maybe? Yeah. The last question.
Just a comment or two. I know you pressed for time, so yeah, I'll be brief.
But
just to the team, yeah, I think this is an excellent project, and perhaps a question to them is whether this project is ready for crowdfunding, because it seems like the type of project that might get a lot of support through crowdfunding. And then secondly, I obviously like the idea of NFTs, that how you linked it to this initiative. And in this map now that it's on the screen, your yellowtail, as they would call it in Blue Ocean, is access to true history. I would have thought that it would have been more the NFTs that you've brought into this kind of solution and platform. But overall, well done. My only question is whether this is ready for crowdfunding. Thank you. Perhaps, Alba, I forgot. Another interesting initiative perhaps to consider in Tshwane, there's the Freedom Park. And in various engagements I've had with them, is one of the biggest challenges is to get feet through the museum. And I think this is an excellent way of connecting with someone like them to get free.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Isaiah. So, Sibonisa and Jean-Luc, it's okay? You want to complete, to react on Isaiah's statements? It's okay?
Yeah, Jean-Luc, do you want to answer the questions of the crowdfunding?
I think that's a fantastic, because this is a community response and a community project. We want this to be a social cohesion engine, or driving social cohesion. The idea of crowdfunding is quite uniquely well suited for that. I think that's the beauty of this, is that you wouldn't have to develop a fully fledged prototype. If you could create an MVP that shows the concept and show people in the community and society the concept and the benefit it's going to have to artists, to museums, to heritage, to tourism, to dialogue, then I think something incredibly beautiful can happen.
Yeah, sounds great. Congrats, Sibonisa and Jean-Luc.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Alban. Thanks for the whole process. It's been an incredible journey.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
So we will now jump into the juries. I would like maybe to have a first opinion, first feedback, overall feedback from maybe Lyall White. He's from the Johannesburg Business School, and he was also involved in the process. to inspire all the participants and the entrepreneurs. Maybe Layal?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alban, and thank you very much to the presenters, and also obviously to the comments and questions. I thought those in themselves were enormously useful, and I might just add as well that what is really refreshing for me is that we're looking at entrepreneurial solutions to some of the most daunting challenges that we have in South Africa, and that is part of the exciting thing here. So I was asked to share what my favorite projects were, and it's such a difficult one, and I don't know why I've been asked to do this or be the first one to go. So I don't know. Maybe it's it's the organizers' way of throwing me through the gauntlet and seeing what happens. But I must admit that all the projects that I sat in on now and the presentations that I watched, I really enjoyed, and I think they've all got legs and in different capacities. I particularly had I had a soft spot for the final project, because I believe in innovative approaches to learning and development, and especially through the gamification. So this is actually an area that I'm directly involved with, and so I do think that that's useful, as well as also starting to leverage off existing areas of existing institutions that will help us gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of our past. So that's why the reference to the museums were quite interesting. But I think my metrics are based very much on what the most pressing and urgent requirements are right now. And I know that all of them try to do this, but from maybe my personal perspective, I must admit that the first two projects for me were addressing very immediate needs, and I'm also biased towards a very simple approach to execution and implementation. So I did find both the AmConnect and the TuksWaste projects simple in their own kind of rightful place, but also very clear and addressing an immediate need that appealed to me personally. So those were my two kind of leading projects that I would put forward for this if I'm really pressed at it right now, because I would like to actually support all of them. But those are the first two, and they came in pretty much equally on that footing.
Thank you, Layal. Thank you for your kind word and this very good overview. As you said, we were covering a lot of different industries with UnConnect, the first project in the education field, TuksWaste in the waste management, Powercycle in the mobility with this bicycle, and then we had Agro organics in the agriculture, parents education in the education, eToken in the energy, and the last one, Untold Histories, covering the tourism industry. So thanks a lot, everyone. Now we will have a 5-minute break also to have the jury's deliberation, and we'll come back in just 5 minutes. Now we invite all the members of the jury to join the Zoom session and to join the jury room in this Zoom session. So it's result announcement. So you can see on the screen here. Monique, Isaiah, the floor is yours if you want. So it's 7 projects we have today.
Okay, I will start off by saying well done to all of you. Great presentations, and even better, the solutions and the thinking behind the solutions. It's always good when you can see clearly what the problem statement is and how that solution can potentially assist. I am not going to give you the joy of selecting 1 or 2 specific programs, because as a smart city office, what we do is we look for innovation on behalf of the city. So I am indicating those who I'm interested in taking to our next round, which is to speak specifically with the departments, where you'll be presenting again for them to better understand and for clarification and for more targeted questions to see how it can work within their environments. Because then after that, if they want to adopt you, so to say, we will then be going into developing pilot operational readiness plans, which will mean that then they go into a pilot phase. So I'll go from the beginning.
And I'll explain why I'm interested, and then, you know, what I think we have to overcome. So, and connect, I'm interested, but specifically, not necessarily for the examining process, because we don't deal with education. The city is not, we don't have a mandate for education. What we do have a mandate for, though, is training of our employees. And we do have mandates for providing ICT and IT and 4IR readiness program in our community development centers and our libraries. So we would like to have you present to those three in order for us to see, and that's HR, human resources, that's community development, specifically the libraries, and the community development centers. Those are two separate units. So those are the three that you'll be presenting to going forward. TuksWaste, as I said, that, you know, one of the things that we've been dealing with, even from economic development, is how do we evolve people and transition people from just being waste pickers to being actually business people and business entrepreneurs, wastepreneurs, they like to call them, but wastepreneurs, where they are actually, there's a conduit of business and an ecosystem that they are tapping into and benefiting from, rather than most of the benefits coming, as you duly noted, from private sector. How do they participate along that way? And how do we strengthen, one, their capacity to take more from the system and their ability to benefit better from it? So that is a conversation that we need to have with Pick It Up and economic development. So I'm going to set that meeting up for that presentation for you guys to take them through this process, for them to then have a clearer indication whether or not this can be taken on. Powercycles. I actually like the nexus between TuksWaste and Powercycle. You're trying to create waste entrepreneurs who have a market that they can sell directly to, and then Powercycles are actually creating a market for you to be selling to, because that's where they get their raw materials. So if I can see a link, I like to explore the link and see how that works out. But transportation has been talking to mobility and expanding the accessibility of mobility across the city, and how to get people through the system so that they can get to work faster, more fluidly, and also health. How do you get people exercising more for health benefits, to improve the quality of health in our work force? So I think we need to have, I would like to present this. I think our main thing to get over the hump of is that it's targeted specifically within townships, and they don't have bicycle lanes in most of the townships because the areas are so condensed and so small, and then also to overcome that whole safety issue. So it's a conversation worth happening, because they've had to explore this challenge. Now the question is, can you help them find the solution for that challenge, so that we can start moving people in and out of Alex to Santa in more droves than what we're doing using cycling. Agro organics. So essentially everyone has a space other than the education. We don't have an education mandate. Agro organics, social development, and again, community development. Community development deals with parks. They deal again with community development centers, where we often have small farm or small gardening that people can come and buy organic food or buy veggies. So looking at that, and then with social development, where they actually do support small agriculture. How do we link this in order to build a better system, again, with our smaller producers, and then linking it into that system of how we can get them to work as cooperatives that then are getting reduced costing for the supplies that they need for their gardening or for their small farm holdings.
So that is going to be you. You know, the city doesn't deal with education, but we do deal with early childhood development centers. So that is obviously your noughts and your not-noughts. So if we're going to do something like this, it's worth the conversation to have, again, with social development who deals with that in order for us to see if there is some linkage or some nexus, or at least that we can find you some of the families that you might need to explore this option a bit further. So while I can't say that we will bring you in, we can potentially support the pilot and maybe helping you to find the parents that are using our centers in order to see how you can build on your concept a bit better. Okay. And then, as I said, I'm not going to give you the joy of selecting any. I'm literally finding that there's a solution here that everyone has presented, and it's worth taking it a step further because it's responding to a need that we have. So the e-tokens, as well as the Untold histories, I'm particularly interested in these two because of the e-value that you're creating. We are trying to create a citizen resolution platform, and we're trying to figure out how do you bring value into changing behavior for our various residents and in different communities. So again, we're going to explore and see how this can potentially find expression on that citizen resolution platform for tourism and then also for the energy sector. So I'm sorry if I'm again extending your presentations and your selection process a bit further, but it's better than me saying that I'm just going to select my favorite when there's another department who might have a favorite. So I'd rather expand the opportunity that you have to get directly to the departments than for me to select my own smart city project. Thanks.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you. Thanks for your very strong support on all this great project. Isaiah, you want to give your opinion? Yeah.
Yes, Alba, thank you very much. And I think to all presenters and groups that presented, these were all very strong presentations and business ideas, concepts that I think are really needed. My response is really based on which ones resonate with the city. And so it doesn't mean that if I don't see a clear link with the city, it doesn't mean that your project is not feasible. I think in some case, let me just start my video. We would like to engage with entrepreneurs as well. So with NConnect, I think certainly a project with potential. I would have thought that universities especially, and perhaps even at some point schools, would be very interested in that. I think from where we are seated, we will watch the space with the project and especially how it goes in Joburg. We'll touch base with you, Monique. And if there's applications identified in your certain city, certainly we can pick up the conversation on our side. TuksWaste, yes, we'll engage our colleagues and create a platform for you to present and for us to engage to see if we can pilot within the city. That's solving really a problem that we faced within the city. Powercycle, yeah, the linkage specifically, as mentioned by Monique, there is definitely a nexus between number 2 and 3. Again, direct application in the city is not clear, but I'm encouraging the teams as well. If they can identify an area or perhaps let's say Amanskraal or wherever they see opportunity, the doors are not closed after this. I mean, we facilitate and we are conduit into the city. If you have a specific concept or idea, come, let's engage and see if we can revive the discussion. Fourth one, Agro organics. Yes, we'll set up some discussions with our agriculture division because we recently launched our urban agriculture project, as well as a few others that we're running. Let's look at synergies there. Parents' education. again, the linkage with the city, not immediately clear, apart from early education. But as I mentioned to the jury, I'd like to play a role and perhaps connect Umbuzo and his team to colleagues in the Department of Education that may be interested to listen to this, because this is really solving a problem that we are faced with. We know we are concerned about the marks in South Africa in certain subjects, so I welcome this project. eToken will facilitate discussions there. I think it's, again, solving a burning issue in the city. And then lastly, Untold Stories. We think it can assist with growing tourism in the respective cities, even if it's working through an organization like Freedom Park, as I mentioned earlier. But I'd like to engage further and explore synergies and opportunities there. Thank you, Alba.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thanks a lot. So it's very positive. Congrats to all the project. We'll ask maybe a roundtable to have a roundtable, to have an overview with all the all our members in the jury we had today, to give just in a few words your favorite. We understand that cities are interested in quite all the project, but maybe you have a favorite as an investor, as a innovation actor. So let's start. Front table, Valerie, you're an investor, professional investor. Who is your favorite?
Congrats to all the project, because I really was interested in hearing them. The teams are great. It's very exciting to see all this great energy. My favorite, I mean, it's always very personal, of course, but my favorite would be Powercycle, because it comes to plastic, energy, kids. Those are all things that I really relate to, but it's of course something, again, very personal, and all the projects are great.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for being with us today and supporting the program. You had a very nice also interactions with all the participants during the ideation step. Thanks a lot. Would like to share his favorite in the jury. Next one.
Yeah, if you don't, I just have 5 minutes and I need to go. First, like Valerie, I'm super impressed by all the presentations, all the projects. I mean, it's super interesting to see that people are thinking about the life for our children. So thank you for that, guys. Regarding Scaleway, we are a cloud provider. That means obviously our favorite projects with Pascal were and Connect. And we really would like to talk with you after this jury. And also the last one, I don't remember the name. Let me check. Untold Histories. Yeah. I believe that education is super important, and it's one of our values also at Scaleway. And that's why Connect is good, and also Untold Histories.
You want to say a few words about how Scaleway, your company, in a cloud service company?
Yeah, very briefly. We are a cloud provider. That means you pretty know AWS, Google, or OVH, which is a French one, DigitalOcean in the US. But our main benefits would be the privacy. We take care about privacy. Also, we do have the most efficient data center here in Europe and next to Paris. So yeah, we love our Earth, and we want to take care of it. And for myself, I'm managing the startup programs. That means we can onboard different startups during 6 or 12 months. And my idea for Connect and Untold Histories would be to onboard them in our early stage program. So they will benefit from 3,600 euros in cloud credits, technical support, dedicated account manager, access to exclusive events, masterclass, degree, VIP demo, etc. And obviously to join an amazing community of entrepreneurs, worldwide entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you, Maxime. Thanks a lot for your support, and thanks to Scaleway, our partner also in this program. We have also here, we are very glad to have Stephen Leah from Veolia. Stephen, do you want to share your feeling? You were also chairing the pre-juries 5 days ago.
Yeah.
And
so thank you very much.
Gap in 5 days, I'm sure.
It was an honor and a privilege, and it was fun, a lot of fun, and you know, I learned a lot myself. I had to Google what was an NFT, and I was really intrigued, and I've been following this up ever since Friday when we had that pre-jury. So that's really something that I'm excited about. So definitely one of my favorites. Obviously, we had to choose 6, and I chose them as my wild card as number 7, and they sneaked in, and you know, I was very excited. And seeing their presentation today, I think it resonated with a lot of people. It's that feel-good thing. It's societal. It's about patriotism. It's about our heritage. And what I was really excited, I'm an animal lover, and I just found the tourism with the wildlife aspect as something, you know, that can be added on. So really excited about that one. It's not something that I have a lot of experience, so I can't help. Yet the 2 that I can help, so I have 3 favorites. The first would have been the Agro organic one. So Veolia I'm being a chemist, a scientist. I'm involved in a lot of projects with where we can use chemistry to enhance water treatment, but also the agricultural sector. So it's something that I think has got a lot of legs. Food security in our country is very important. So I think that one would go far, and I can certainly provide some mentorship and guidance in that area. And then the Powercycle. Like you say, the nexus between the plastic recycling and then creation of a product that can help school kids. There's even the add-on of the generation of power. I think that's great. There's even a few areas I've been involved in rubber recycling. So that could be an aspect that we could use for the tires, either reusing old tires or, you know, taking rubber and manufacturing tires for this project. So those are the 3, I think, and I could certainly help with 2 of them, but I think those 3 were my favorites.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Steve. Stephen, do you want to give more details about how Veolia could support most of this project in waste management, in recycling? Do you have some ideas already you want to share?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's one of our strategic intents over, you know, the next few years. We want to transform our country. We're involved in ecological transformation. So anything involved in water, waste, energy, recycling, valorization of waste, these are the areas that Veolia will be investing, focusing attention, providing any support to any projects of this nature.
Thank you, Stephen. Thanks a lot for your support. As you can see also on my on the screen, it will be here a very strong support to 6 of the 7 projects, as you can see, where the city is engaged. Johannesburg and City of Tshwane experiment. They will put you in touch with their team, operational team, to speak about experimentation, to conduct them. Veolia will support you in the prototyping with their engineers, like Stephen just said. Also, it can be the waste management, recycling, anything. And also Scaleway on the cloud service, the IT part, like Maxime said, proposed to two groups to join their entrepreneur program. So with a strong support in a cloud service, in cloud services support. And also the BlueOcean Awards I'm representing today with the 8th edition we'll have in June, international edition. It will bring you all, so this 6 project we are talking about, you will be all finalists of the 2nd South African Blue Ocean Award. It will bring you a very high level of visibility to investors, because it will be this next step you will have after your experimentation, prototyping, and development. You will need funds, you will need investors. So this is what Blue Oceaners will bring you. At this 2nd edition we'll have in the French Embassy in South Africa. It will also take place in Paris, take place in Senegal, and we are trying to start also a US edition. So thanks a lot to all of you. The next step here, it will be in 3 months for this Blue Ocean Awards, to see how much you have been far, or how far you have been in your project with all this great support. I hope you enjoy this great support, you valorize it with your experimentation, your prototyping, and the next step. So we say let's meet in 3 months and we'll see if you will be ready. I'm sure you will be ready for this international investor jury of the 8th edition of the Blue Ocean Awards. Jury will be in May, and event will be in June. And I give the floor to the UNISA, certainly Yongama or Basanda representing Ayanda, for the closing.
Thanks, Alban. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For me, just say thank you for coming. So let me keep it simple like that, because I'm between your lunch. So for Alban, thanks for the opportunity for these Blue Oceans. You're coming a long way in terms of where we started and now. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the cities that are involved: eThekwini, city of Joburg, and then Tshwane Municipality. And also thank the partners that we have, Veolia, your Scaleway, the Blue Ocean City that Alba is leading with Jason Handa. And also thank the universities that are participating: University of Pretoria, Tshwane University of Technology, Tshimologong+UNISA University, and also UNISA. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Thank you those who are on the virtual platform through Zoom, that you're able to be with us during this, and also the participants that take part during this Blue Oceans pitching session. Looking forward to work with you guys and coming up with good solutions within the cities. I'd like to take this time and say thank you, Alban. Thank you, everyone. And we have your refreshments ready for you. Thanks.
Thank you, Basanda. Thanks to the UNISA to have organized this such a great event. So maybe we can have a view from the stage and see all the participants on the stage to say goodbye. Do you agree? If all the
I fully agree.
Yeah, we had 5 groups, 5 entrepreneur groups. So you can go on the stage and we take the picture to say goodbye. Yeah, congrats, and we can applaud. We can give applause. Congrats, congratulations to all of you.
Sorry.
It was a very great job. It was 3 months, very intense, but you did it. And you see, you are continuing here with the support, very strong support from cities, from Veolia, from different corporates. So we'll do our best to support all the teams. Thanks. And we have some gift. It's nice. Online participants, if you want to open your video, also, we can take a hybrid group picture. So congrats everyone, and let's meet for the next step on the BlueOcean Awards with very great job, very good work. See you soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Well done.
Thanks,
Well done.
George, and Stefan, and Jason. Thanks a lot. Veronica, also
Cheers,
from
everyone.
Veolia. Thanks a lot. And see you soon. And we say hi and have a nice day. We wish a nice day to all our audience online. You were around 100, 200 joining us today. See you soon.